A conference meeting of the City of Orange Township held in the council chambers, City Hall, 29 North Day Street, Orange, New Jersey, on Tuesday, October 21st, 2014, at 7 p.m. Roll call. Councilman Colby present. Councilman Corbett.
Here.
Councilwoman Tinsy Eason.
Here.
Councilwoman April Butler. Not present. Councilman Harold Johnson.
Here.
Councilwoman Jamie Summer Johnson.
Present.
Councilwoman President Donna K. Williams. Not present at this point in time. Also present, Madeline S. Smith, Deputy Municipal Clerk. Not present. Honorable Mayor Dwayne Warren. Not present. City Attorney. Not present. Finance Director Adrian Matt.
Here.
Present. Chief Financial Officer Joy Lascari. Present. Legislative Research Officer Karen Harris. Present. Maggie Holmer from the Clerk's Office. Present. Can we please stand for a moment of silence, please? That's it, thank you. For the record, Ava White for the City Attorney Office is present. Special note, please be apprised anyone wishing to discuss agenda or general items shall sign one book. There will be 2 columns in the book, one for agenda items and one for general issues. Each person signing a book will check agenda items or general issues. If they check only the agenda items or general issues, they will be allowed to speak for 5 minutes. If they check general and agenda items, they will be allowed to speak for 10 minutes. Okay, Mr. Clerk announced that the
The requirement of NJSA 10-9 Sunshine Law has been met. The notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger and published in the record transcript on July 17, 2014, posted on the bulletin board in City Hall and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. You have matters for discussion. Presentation by Ronald C. Lee, Orange School Superintendent.
Okay, Mr. Lee.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, Mr. Lee.
Oh, y'all can do that. Nice. Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a presentation I've been asked, invited here by Council President Donna Williams. I don't know if you're voting on it tonight, but there should be a resolution before you soon to approve a bond request for the school district in the amount of $11 million. Since you don't have any ways of making presentations, I have paper copies. So.
Thank you, sir.
The Board of Education on April 8th, 2014 considered a bond. This is basically to improve district infrastructure and to expand the district. They approved the resolution, and on September 29th, the Board of School Estimate, which consisted of the Honorable Mayor Dwayne Warren, Council President Donna K. Williams, Vice President Terry Coley, Board of Education President Patricia Arthur, and Board of Education Vice President Jeffrey Winfield. We come before you because the council is the last step in raising the funds necessary to go out to the marketplace of the $11 million, and I'll give the public a general of what the projects that we've outlined. Our $11 million consists of the following, and that'll be on the second page. Improving our security systems within our schools. That's approximately $310,000. Playgrounds haven't been addressed in numerous years, and we need to put new playgrounds at some of our schools and rehabilitate some of the playgrounds at existing schools, and so that's $319,000. Boiler replacements, HVAC. Boilers are getting old. As a matter of fact, at Haywood Avenue School, we're replacing one boiler now, and we need to replace the other. And so there's a contract as we speak, replacing the boiler at Haywood, but we have some other conditions at some other schools. And let me first say that, the state of New Jersey, under formerly known as the Abbott decision, through the SDA, is supposed to be undertaking projects of emerging expansions and so forth, but because the state of New Jersey and its financial situation, as we're told, don't have the money to do it, but still our structures are falling apart, and we are concerned about the safety of our students and our teachers and the community. And every time we have an emerging project, they always tell us find the money, and so we can't put our public or our children in those conditions. So some of these projects are really for us to address the needs that we have currently. Rehabilitate our auditorium at Oprah. If you've been to any, well, not only at Orange Prep, but at a couple of other schools, but if you've been to any performances at Orange Preparatory Academy, the sound system, which is about 15 years old, needs to be upgraded. Sometimes you can't hear, the sound doesn't come through, and so doing that and rehabilitating some of the auditorium, if you see some of the structure, the water's coming through, to do that, $245,000. Property acquisition, upgrading. Tomorrow night, we have our annual town hall meeting, and at the meeting, and I didn't want to take the council's time up now, but we're going to talk about, we have been approved as a district, the expansion of Orange High School and an expansion on the Cleveland Street School. And I'll talk about that a little more tomorrow night. But what the district has been doing at Orange High School, for example, is trying to be ahead of the curve. And so we purchased a few properties. We have some other things that we would like to do. So we allotted some dollars for that, $620,000. Upgrading intercom systems at some of our schools for a safety matter. You can't hear calls being made from the main office or back to the main office, so we need to upgrade that. It's $195,000. Waterproofing some of our buildings, $183,000. Renovation of a building that we purchased. We want to move our IT department to that building to give us a little bit more space at the administration building. So we bought the building that's adjacent to the administration office, and we just need to do some upgrading and some things there so that we can move that department over there. Tremont Avenue, this is our big ticket item. The old police station. We've allotted $7.668 million to rehabilitate that building. Now, obviously, the council has to do one thing first, is decide whether they want to give the building back to us. But what we want to do is create a sort of a magnet STEM high school, a second high school, and so we give options to constituents and residents of Orange. In addition to that, we hear the concerns of the community. So as we are improving the school system, but some of our better students are leaving us, so we want to be able to have a high school that is, well, one of the main focus will be STEM. I've already had conversations with NJIT about helping us build the program and how the school, some of the programming needed in the school. And so they're partnering with us as we have conversations about building a STEM high school. So again, $7.6 million for that. And then there's been conversations, I've been part of conversations for the last 3, 4, 5 years about the why and the needs there, and how we as a community can come together and have whether a three-way partnership. And I understand the why is having some financial difficulties. Even with the previous administration, we were having conversations. We've had conversations with the current administration about how we can work together to bring the Y back up and bring some resources into the city. One of the things is, fixing up the pool. I would love to have a swim team at our schools, and not only just swim team in our schools, but an indoor place where the community can come and swim and do some things. So we've allotted $800,000 as part of the three-way partnership. We're in conversations with the Y and the City of Orange about bringing that community resource back where we can utilize it. And so we are, obviously if this bond is finally approved by this body, we'll have dollars that we can do some fix-up thing. That's $11 million. So that totals $11 million. I'm just going to skip pages. Now the question is, how do you pay for this? Starting way back in 1990, probably really 96, but I know on my page the first date is 97. In 96, we were for a couple of years. Some of the dates you see here were reissues by the city, but our original dates go back as far as 96. We raised dollars to do various projects at the school. For example, the addition that you see on the Haywood, that one-story addition, the four-story addition that you see on Forest, the four-story addition that you see on Oakwood Avenue, that was pre-Abbott. The district was doing those types of projects. We did it through a bond. We came to the city, said we need to raise some dollars. Those dollars were raised and we put additions onto our schools. Most of those bonds have already been paid off. Based on information that we received from the city, there is only outstanding amount on those bonds of $1,675,000. And so, being that most of those bonds have already been paid off, what the amount that's already built into the tax base of the residents here can really be reutilized, go out, raise dollars, and should not have to raise taxes for school purposes and for that. And so that should already be built into the tax base for the town. But I did, however, that is not. I'm saying it should hold true, but I don't run the city finances, I don't know what's going on. But the next page basically said if you raise $11 million over a 15 or 20-year bond, the approximate annual payment would be approximately $950,000. That's what you see at the top. And based on an increase, if it's a total increase to the taxpayers, based on that, for a person who has a house assessed at $200,000, it would be an annual increase of $119. For a person with $300,000, $179, $400,000, $239, and if your house, if your property is priced for $500,000, it's an additional $298 or $25 a month. And so, if worst case scenario, and this would require the raising of taxes, that's worst case. And I know taxes are an issue. These are the dollar amounts, approximately, that would be required of the average taxpayer in Orange based on their property assessed value. And so, we are working with the Board of Education. We're working with the community. We've been in conversation with the city administration on the things that are needed at the school system to improve it from a facilities point of view. And so I asked this body to, when it does consider the bond, that it considers approving it. And then once that occurs, obviously, then the administration can go out to the marketplace and raise the dollars and give the dollars to us, and we can start working on these specific projects. I wanted to be brief. If there are any, I'm here to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Superintendent Lee, if you get the building on Lincoln, what would that do to Mount Palmer? Would you still own that to Lee?
I would still keep that.
What would you put there?
Where? I'm sorry.
At Mount Palmer? You would still
Well, right now we're running our Scholars Academy. We have preschool classes there, so I would keep that there. Again, in Tremont, we're looking to have a second high school, a STEM high school.
Okay. Isn't that sort of similar to the Scholars Academy?
Well, this is for ages 7 through 12. This is high school, and it's going to be all day. It's not going to be the in and out. It would be probably I hate to say this is premature, but I'm just talking out loud. You know, where it's a, you know, based on certain criteria of students who can give me an entrance kind of a school.
Based on a conversation I had with the mayor, I thought at the school estimate meeting, you guys talked about transferring that building. You didn't talk about that?
Transferring the Tremont building? Well, that's what I was saying. In order for this project to occur, the ownership of the building needs to be transferred to the district.
So all we need to do is a resolution.
I don't know what the process is, because I can't speak to what your process would be to do that.
Mr. White, Attorney White, could we ask you to research that to see what the council needs to do to transfer the building? Because I think the mayor is in agreement, we just need to figure out how we do that. Are you gonna send us an email before the next meeting? Okay.
Council Vice President?
Yes.
Mr. Lee, I'm all on board for most of this presentation,
Okay?
because there's no doubt that the school district has been, neglected for a long time, and it's time to do something about it to improve the facilities and give our children a safer environment to come to and to learn in. But when you were talking about the restoration of the Y, and I see you're ready to commit for $800,000, any idea of what the other parties are willing to commit to assist in this effort to bring us a community center where the kids and others can come and recreate?
Again, let me clarify some part of the statement when you say you. Again, this is going to be a town, and so this is going to, see, as we see it, our investment will allow us some use of the building during the day. It can be used for whether the rec department or Y activities during off-school hours, I'll say. But as a community, we're able to, get the building up to where it needs to be, and these funds are really raised by the community to do something at a community location, but with some school use.
Okay. I'll check with the administration and see what their ambitions are. And we all are aware of this financial situation with the Y, so that all concerns me. But we'll work it out.
Council Vice President, along those, can I ask another question?
Yes.
Along those lines. So is there any thought as to purchasing the one?
I've recently been contacted regarding that. Actually received a letter regarding it. We are in the process of having a meeting to discuss that. But that's really all I know, because I received a letter about, what the building was appraised for, but when I say just received, it was just yesterday.
I guess with your attorney, you have explored the idea of it being into chapter 11 or whatever, and how that would impact whatever you're trying to do. So you guys are on board with that?
Well, again, I just got the letter yesterday. We were supposed to have a meeting with a trustee several weeks ago, but that person had family issues that they had to address. And with the letter that we received yesterday, we are reaching out to schedule a meeting to sit down to discuss the matter and what a potential proposal could be.
Council Vice President, again.
Yes.
And again, that's pretty much what concerns me, because I see what the weight of the district is, but we need to be sure that the piece that the Y is going to play in this, we need to be sure that they're able to do their fair share, if it's going to be a partnership, and that's what concerns me.
Well, and I will obviously report that to my board once I have the meeting and determine if, and I'll just say, a purchase is a dual thing. And whether something can be negotiated, then that removes the other piece, and then it's just a city and Board of Ed.
Mr. Lee, when we had the meeting, we spoke about the old building, about the environment, about the environmental issues. at the Old Police Department. I know I raised the issue back then about demoing the building and building something new. Are you still considering that as an option?
That is considered as an option.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be considered.
Okay.
Well, what we'll do is, we had a conversation with the architect, we'll cost out what it costs to rehabilitate and add on versus starting from new and compare the two and see what we can do.
Is excuse me, Mr. Lee, at 7:14, Councilwoman April Gamboa showed up, and we have President Williams at 7:25.
Council Vice President, can I?
Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Lee.
How are you, sir?
All right. As the West Ward councilman, I'm hearing from some of my constituents that they're not fully understanding what the school board's plans are for the properties that have been acquired or declared in place. Can I speak to someone about what your plans
Oh,
are?
I can tell you right now.
Okay, feel free.
The properties on Clarendon Place were purchased even before we were aware, but we were trying to be, we try to be forward-thinking as much as we can. In the anticipation that when the time came where the state was willing to build onto Orange High School, that they would have a place to do it. Because usually what slows down most projects is, specifically in urban areas, there's no place to build, so they have to acquire property, they have to acquire, deal with homeowners and various different things. As we see for sale signs come, housing come up, or property, doesn't have to be housing, where property come up for sale around our schools, we make inquiry because, we look at the footprint of our schools, and for most of our schools, the expansion of the footprint could be advantageous. And so we started buying property across the street from the high school because they came up for sale, and in anticipation that when they built onto Orange High School, that we could replace the parking from one side of the street to the other. Then what happened was, when the state told us several months ago that the Orange High School project had been approved, they said to us, because they were saying, where could we build? You have your parking lot here. And in the meeting, and they must have a great system, because they said in the meeting, someone's buying property across the street. I wish we had it done. We were there to buy the property, and we turned to them in the meeting and said, it's the school district. And they said, oh, great. Then that can expedite, your project, because the land acquisition is not part of it. We can go forward with planning to build on that location where the parking is, and then we can make, transfer our parking spaces across the street. So that's why, that was
Is
the
there a
purpose.
number of properties that you'll need to do that?
Well,
Consecutive, they would have to be consecutive lots.
it would, consecutive would be great. Right now, and we may have closed, right now, we'll have, if it's not, by the end of this week, I know, we should have 3. We already have 2, and we were closing on 1.
Thank you.
Mr. Lee, I have one more question. Going back to the old police station, how soon does you need this governing body to, transfer the property back over to the board in order for this bond to move in the right direction?
Well, the two are separate. Obviously, the bond is one piece of action that this board has to do, and then the administration has to go out to the marketplace to raise the dollars. But the other about transferring the property. Now, obviously, the transferring the property for Tremont is part of this bond. That's where we were looking, but if that doesn't occur, then we will look at other properties to try to create a second STEM high school. We would prefer it to be the Old Tremont location. However, if that doesn't occur, but one doesn't have to do with the other. Now, obviously, if you raise the money, $11 million, part part of it was the Tremont building. And if you see on the second page, on the next page, what we did, and when you go out to bond, what we will suggest to the administration is you categorize it this way, so then it gives some flexibility, because in the past, when we went out to bond, you kind of pigeonhole yourself if you say it's for this property. So that's why we categorize on the next, in the summary page, property acquisition is $620,000, building sites and rehabilitation improvements, $10 million, and boiler replacements, $319, so that gives us some flexibility within projects. But the process of raising money in bonds, I'm not sure how long that takes, but usually it's taken a couple of months. I know in the past, the city's gone out and did temporary bonds, temporary notes, so they got the money while they were doing the paperwork to raise the bonds. I don't know what the process is going to be for this time.
All right, thank you. Any other questions?
Council President?
Yes.
Susan, I'm not gonna be able to make it tomorrow night, so for Cleveland Street, are you going with the original designs or we starting all over from scratch?
I'm not privy to, well, what do you define as original design?
When we first put that proposal together to get the school renovated, buying the houses around,
It does, the new proposal does include purchasing some property.
and we can't go across the street.
That is not what SDA is proposing.
So you're gonna continue with purchasing the houses and.
Well, SDA is going to purchase those. And for the record, we left your house alone.
Take it.
Yes. Councilman?
I have a question. As far as the Y and the pool, is there any money, from the state? Because I'm assuming you would use it with the special needs and the autistic children, through therapy and things like that. Do you know if there's any money to do something like that?
We always, no, I shouldn't say we always. We continue to look for funding
Mhm.
outside of, local taxes and state aid. And we're doing more of the grant writing. We have foundations that support us. And so we're always looking for additional dollars to assist with that. Hopefully, within the next couple of months, I'm working on something that may even push that even forward if those plans work out where we'll be aggressively seeking out additional dollars for numerous projects.
Thank you. Y'all make the job.
Thank you.
Superintendent Lee, thank you for being here. We look forward to seeing you every 3 or 4 months. Councilman Easton, that's correct, right? He'll be here every 3 or 4 months.
Absolutely right.
Thank you.
Thank
Superintendent, you and I had a conversation a couple of days ago regarding the flag at Oakwood,
Yes.
and I looked at it and said, hi, did you get a chance? And what, can you review all the flags? I drive by it every day and I don't know why I seen it this day.
All right, and you told me it wasn't done, because as soon as I hung up from you, I made a phone call.
Okay.
And so if it's not done, I'm missing calls on that. But I did say to check all the flags. One of the issues that, I know at one school on prep, the pole is so high, we need the assistance of the fire department. And my maintenance person was trying to coordinate, there's been some difficulty in coordinating using the fire boom to change that. But I was promised they would go around to all the schools to look at it. And so you're gonna make me drive by Oakwood and
No,
take
I
a look.
actually, I looked at it from one angle and it looked like it was a brand new one, and then I looked at it, so I believe it is. It may still be tethered, but
Okay.
thank
Well,
you.
it shouldn't be tethered at all.
Well, the one I called you on.
Oh,
was.
right, okay.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I missed your presentation.
That's all right.
Let me try to come back next month. And are there any other questions before Superintendent? Do you have a closing, Superintendent Lee?
Just, I want to invite everyone, again, we have our annual town hall meeting tomorrow night between 6 and 8 p.m. at Lincoln Avenue School. We will present the state of the district, our student achievement data. We're going to have student recognition this year, so we're going to recognize some students. We're going to talk about a new parent academy that we're engaging. We're engaging parents. Our focus this year is to engage parents. And we're going to talk about a little bit about that. We're going to talk about, I'm going to give a facilities update as well. So I invite the community out, Lincoln Avenue School. We will be serving refreshments, and we're also providing babysitting services so parents can bring their young ones and we will feed them and have babies. So we're getting our students involved with that.
Thank you. Superintendent Lee, if not, you can email all of us. Are there any updates on the evening school? You had talked about it sometime.
Well, actually, I was going to announce it tomorrow, but I'll give the council a preview. We've already talked about it. The district was awarded $2.5 million from the federal government in partnership with Montclair State to address parent and community needs. And one of the projects under that is the GED, or some of the projects are GED, supporting the clinic, health and dental clinic that we're going to put at Oakwood Avenue School, an evening school, adult evening school, and various parent engagement, community engagement. So it's a 5-year grant, $500,000 a year. We were only one of 9 schools and or districts in the whole country to be awarded. So as I said to Councilwoman Johnson, we're always looking to partner and bring in more dollars that don't burden the taxpayers and or the state. So.
Thank you.
Councilman.
Superintendent, does that mean you're getting Spanish as a second language?
Well, we have been offering ESL and
That's English.
those
I'm talking about SSL.
Spanish as a second language.
Remember how many years I've been
We're going to be
taking
sitting down with the community to talk about what either programming and or classes or whatever they would like in evening school. So we're not going to dictate that from up top. We want to hear from the community what kind of services and what kind of training, and we want to do resume building. We want to do various different things and have corporations and job preparedness programs also in there. So we're going to have we have 5 years, and we're going to try to put Spanish as a second language on the table as well.
It means I gotta get 100 people to come out demand it.
No, you don't. You usually tell me once, twice, and I got it.
Thank you, Superintendent.
All right, thank you. I want to acknowledge my board members, Patricia Arthur and Ms. Christina Mateo here, so I'm going to acknowledge them coming out. I want to thank them for
Can you
coming.
come to the front just so, because everybody doesn't know you. Can you come to the front and just introduce yourself? Everybody knows you, Ms. Arthur, but can you please come with me, please?
The junior board member.
Oh, how y'all doing? I'm sorry, I'm a little sick today. But my name is Christina Mateo. I am a new member of the board, and I'm doing my best to make sure that the kids get what they deserve in the community. Also gets involved and gets involved in the children's education. I always say that if we're not involved in the kids' education as parents, or not as leaders, but more as parents, there's nothing we can expect for our children to do in the future because we were not involved in their growing. So I'm here, and I thank you for inviting me to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mateo.
Well, good evening, everyone. I do not need any other introduction. You know where I stand as a board member. I'm committed to the cause. So, good evening, everyone, and I hope you all will help us to get what we want, the bond going.
In your name,
Because this
in your name, ma'am?
Yes.
What's your name?
My name is Patricia A. Arthur. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.
All right, thank you.
Superintendent, Council Vice President Coles has a question to ask your side.
Oh, okay.
there any resolutions or ordinances that you would like to discuss at this time?
Council President, 262, that's 2014.
2014.
262-2014. This is,
Fire department, do you have another one just for a second? Maybe others, because he just said that. Is that it?
I'm a little concerned about, ordinance 20-2014.
Mr. Mobley? Would you like to come to the property? In relation to ordinance 20-14?
Chris Mobley?
Yes, now I know there is a resolution on this agenda tonight to rescind the original loan for $1.2 million. And I also see now that you guys are coming back in a bond, what's in the 2008 model that remains there. You're asking for the 1.2. This is pretty much to satisfy the same issue that the $1.2 million loan was going to satisfy?
Well, yes, but let me just go back to the first point you made, that we were rescinding the loan. We weren't rescinding the loan, we were rescinding the approval that council provided to submit the loan, to submit the application for the loan. With regard to the 1.2, we did go back and we looked at the additional costs that would come forth. And after analysis, we believe that it would not have been in that same area of the 1.5. And so we reduced it to the 1.2, and we only added the $50,000 in the event that there was litigation that needed to be dealt with. And so that $50,000 above the 1.2 only deals with potential litigation that may come forward.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the only question I have. Pertaining to that.
Thank you.
And going back to 262, Director Dow. Chief Dow, I'm sorry. Resolution 262-2014.
62.
It looks like you're attempting to purchase a 2015 Ford truck.
Correct. This is a vehicle that will be funded by our fire prevention funds, which is for violations and fees, so it doesn't come out of the regular budget.
It doesn't come out of the regular budget or the bond.
Correct.
Interesting.
The Fire Prevention Bureau has certain funds it has to use, and we were able to purchase smaller vehicles. And like I said, they come from fees for licenses and any violations, like life safety inspections for insurance and stuff like that. The state gets a percentage, and we get a percentage, and we use those funds to purchase certain smaller vehicles. It's not a sufficient amount.
That's good. I'm glad you're using funds other than the bond, which pretty much means to me, as far as I'm concerned, that there's a possibility that we'll have some money left over from this bond that the council just approved.
I'll have to defer that to the finance department. That's not my venue, so. Anything else, sir?
That's it. Thank you very much.
I have a question real quick.
262?
Oh, it's on 262. Because I'm just curious.
Almost.
Is it director or chief?
It's acting chief.
Acting Chief Dow. Okay. I'll have to rehearse that. And it's well deserved. This particular vehicle, was this in your game plan during the bond?
Well,
Was it considered during the bond?
all the vehicles have reached the stage where they should be replaced. This was lowered down, but due to the fact that the fire prevention funds have been coming in, the receipts were a little bit better off this year, and we decided to replace this and transfer the present 8-year vehicle to the public works. See, this vehicle also was our plow. So last year we used it in a snowstorm and assisted the public works department, so now they'll be able to have another small plow truck, and we'll have a new one. So it's gonna help out 2 departments actually.
You'll have the old plow truck.
Correct, which will transfer to.
And this one has the package to have the plow.
Yes, this will have and we use that basically for the firehouse and police, any emergency in the storm. We have that some, in case the public works is tied up, certain streets to get us down the street. But we always have one pickup truck that has a plow to do the firehouse, Washington Street, Central Avenue, and in case of severe emergency, they can go out with an engine, get down, at least get down the street to a house. And there's a lot of times the public works in the snowstorm can tie it up, as we all know. Otherwise, we don't have them like this.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Councilmember, any questions? Mr. Moore, you want to return back on 20-2014?
Yeah.
Yes, follow up regarding 20-2014?
I just want to make one additional comment. In addition to,
Mr. Moore, before you start talking, I hope everybody here roll their windows up and can talk louder because the rain is.
yes, I just wanted to make one other notation that in addition to any legal costs that would come out of that additional $50,000, what would also come out of there would be expenses for bond counsel.
Thank you. Councilwoman Summers Johnson, any, Councilwoman Eason? On 273-2014,
Do you know if Rutgers has implemented the enrollment courses?
Council,
Do you have an idea of where this training, until we get the training, because then Rutgers has anticipated its program?
Rutgers still does, they don't have the elected officials course as one course, but they do have, as all the courses together into one elected officials course because lack of participation from elected officials at the state. However, they do give classes, as the finance class we had went to that time, that was a part of the elected officials. So they'll give classes sporadically until the enrollment increases, and then they'll put the elected officials course back on.
I know the league has said they probably would implement some Rutgers in the end, academic program.
And the resolution does speak to Rutgers and other places that the state recognizes.
But there's no certification program for them.
Not that it's just inactive because of lack of participation, but they, the gym I spoke to, I can't think of her name, but also who does the ethics course, I can't think of it, Bill, Mr. Kearns. And so if the participation is there, they will make it an active course.
But I know he has said that he would bring the ethics course to Orange if we wanted him to.
And he's coming soon. He's
We
coming.
need to figure out how much. And I have one other one, 272-2014.
Yes, yes. Matt?
I'm Adrian Mapp, Director of Finance.
Mr. Mayor, as you know, last meeting I took off one article for $1,500. My question, and I realized afterwards it had been paid already, is it customary, even though we vote on the bill list, that a lot of this stuff has already been paid before it gets to us? Is that a custom, or is everything still has to go through a purchase order?
Everything has to go through a purchase order, and I wouldn't say that a lot of things are usually paid. That's not the case. There are a few items that from time to time are paid by a process known as handchecks, and it depends on the situation at the time.
So how do you initiate a hand check versus going through the purchase order process and paying it before you do it?
It still has to go, all payments must go through the purchase order system.
So what percentage of the bills would you say is already prepaid before you get the vote?
Less than 0.5%. It's a very, very, very small number. As you can see from the bill list that you receive on a bi-weekly basis, there's usually no more than 1, 2, at most 3 items that are paid in that fashion. We avoid that.
And you do the approving of those items?
The disbursement of the handchecks,
Yeah.
all payments have to be approved, all checks are stamped by both the mayor and the director of finance. So I would say yes.
So you do the approving process.
we did provide you with an explanation of that particular item.
I got it, but I checked with an attorney, and it is illegal for an employee to charge to the credit card and then charge it up to the city, us as the city. The other question, you had promised me something on the, when you offered to give me a printout on the trust account.
I forgot, remind me, I forgot, I'm sorry.
I'll send
Sorry.
you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Council members, are there any other questions? Seeing none?
Council President,
Yes, sir.
I have a question on another resolution.
Councilman Johnson?
Thank you. 263, 2014.
Mr. Mays?
What are these lawnmowers being used for?
For grass. Mr. Mays, I'm sorry. Your mic is not. Is it, can you look at the bottom, see if it's broken? Is everyone full? No, it's not. Thank you. It's okay.
Oh,
It's working.
testing, testing.
These lawnmowers are going to be used to cut grass. These are the lawnmowers, if you look in the bond ordinance, that are listed in the bond ordinance. I don't know what to say beyond that.
No, yeah, I see this as park divisions in the amount for park division. Will they be used for cleaning properties that are owned by banks, homeowners, again, empty lots? I don't know what Parks Division does.
Yeah, primarily they'll be used for the parks, they'll be used for Metcalf, Central Playground, all of those areas. Mainly that's what they'll be used for. And I don't envision having to use them to do a lot of cleanups. You'll probably be using some of the older ones for that. But these are for Military Park, the park down at the valley, therefore to maintain the grass in those areas primarily.
Okay, thanks. I've got one more question. On Resolution 267, 2014, what's the anticipated start date if the council blesses this with 7 votes today?
Yeah, this is a little tricky because it actually is dependent upon the weather. If the council blesses it today, if the weather holds up, we can try to squeeze it in. If not, it'll be the first road done in the spring. So it's really dependent upon the weather. That's the answer to your question. We'd like to get it done before winter sets in, but it depends upon the weather again. So if it's not done this winter, it'll be the first one as soon as the weather breaks.
In the body of the resolution, does it read that it's required 40 hours to do the whole job? I'm referring to the payment for the police. So that's only like for 40 hours, which would be 8 hours times 5 days, I believe.
Just bear with me for a second. Now, where are you on that? What paragraph?
I was looking at the cost for the police. Traffic director, flagger,
Yeah, what page is that?
Page 5 of the proposal page. I assume that the traffic director flagged 40 hours, $55. That for the length of the whole job.
Right. Yeah. Line number 37.
Yes.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. And one of the changes that we made based on a lot of the discussions that we had relative to some of the other roadway projects, if you go back and look at some of the other ones, you'll see that they don't have flagger. What we did was we changed to a flagger because we found out that the flagger is a little bit more expensive, but those costs are paid through the grant. So that's why we switched from flagger. Actually, that's a good thing for the city. But you're right, it is for total of 40 hours.
So, Director Mays, in wrapping up being the Westwood Councilman, I would like for the administration to make a decision like ASAP. If you're going to do it in spring, tell the people it's going to be done in spring. People are anticipating this may be done before Christmas. So make a decision, stick by it, and let's go forward.
I don't have a problem with that. I'd like to get it done. I hear you clearly. We just got to see what happens with the weather. I can give you more details.
Let's do it this spring, man. Don't tell them.
Director Mays?
Yes.
Two questions regarding the same resolution. We have spoken about chargebacks if they don't meet the contractual timeline. Will that be happening? And are you saying that we'll no longer contract with the police, that you'll be using a civilian instead of the police now?
Yeah, we'll be using flaggers, which is a reimbursable cost.
So you'll be using a civilian?
We'll be,
37 is a civilian?
right.
Okay. And then regarding the chargeback, if they go over the committed time of the project?
Right, that's also in there as well. We talked about that too.
Council President,
Councilman Coley?
when we talking about doing road construction, road work,
Yes.
flaggers can't stop traffic. Flaggers can't block off streets.
Director Mays?
It'll be a combination of flaggers and police. The police will still be used.
And are there any other questions, on any other resolutions and/or ordinances? If not, motion to close. Motion to adjourn, I apologize, by Councilman Summers Johnson, second. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Councilman Eason. Councilman Eason, motion to close, second by Councilwoman Gordon Butler. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We will have to take a 5-minute break. We can't move forward just because of the mics. I just have to check something tonight, something's not. So 5 minutes. Councilman Gordon Butler, we have this for 5 minutes. This is a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Orange Township, held here in the council chambers, 29 North Day Street, Orange, New Jersey, October 21st, 2014, immediately following the conference meeting. Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
We started in September, bringing the students from Orange from Orange Public Schools to do the flag salute as a way to bring the government and the people together, because the students do not come alone and their parents get to get a little taste of how government works. So today I have the pleasure of bringing forward Miss Anaya Muldrow, and she is a 7th grader from Orange Preparatory Academy. So Anaya.
Good evening, I'm Anaya Mojo and I go to school in Orange Preparatory Academy. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Nye, before you leave, you told us that you attend Orange Preparatory Academy. Do you want to tell us anything else, your favorite subject, and about yourself, just a little bit about
My
yourself?
favorite subject is social studies.
Social studies? Councilman Johnson, would you like to bring greetings on behalf of the City Council to Mr. Nye?
Which Johnson you talking?
Councilman Johnson.
Ms. Anaya, we thank you so much for taking the time out, and we hear great things that you are an excellent student. Keep up the good work, and raise the bar for students that are around you that may not be doing their best, and set the example for them. We thank you so much for coming out tonight.
And Ms. Nye, who came with you? Did you drive by yourself? Did you drive here?
No.
Okay.
I came here with my mom, Cynthia, and Mojo.
And is there anybody else with you to support you?
And Coach Vicky.
Play basketball?
Yes.
Yes. You know how Coach Vicky is. Thank you very much. And Mom and Coach Vicky, come up so everybody knows who you are. You think Coach Vicky was
And now you
shy?
didn't tell me you got game.
I went to the family.
When you get to high school, you have to promise me to wear number 20.
But I am a dancer though. I like dancing. That's what I do.
And I just wanted, I'm sorry, go ahead, Anaya. Did I cut you off? You sure? Okay. Ms. Jackson, she works at Oakwood Avenue School, and Coach Vicky, she's the coach for the basketball teams at the undefeated Oakwood Avenue School. I don't believe any other school in Orange has ever beat Oakwood Avenue School.
Yeah,
So
it's
thanks
very
for
good.
that.
Last 2 years. And I'm also a parent over that.
Thank you.
I know.
So thank you very much. Please keep attending, and we look forward to having you back at a later date. And Councilman Neeson?
Coach Vicky, when does the Saturday game start? No, they haven't started yet. They haven't started yet. Basically starts in
Coach Vicky, you have to come to the mic.
in December.
Starting in December,
Yeah.
Cleveland get you again this year.
Cleveland, what happened? They haven't won one in a couple of years. I had 2 years ago. I had 11 sports. I'm just missing 3 from here.
Thank you so much, and Nia, please let us know when you dance within the school district, so you'll be performing.
Recently I will be joining the dance conservatory.
Okay, so
This month.
invite us out, let us know when you'll be dancing so we can come support you.
Also, I'm a bridge player. Anybody heard of bridge?
Wow, that's important, because I think, playing bridge.
Yes. Last year in 2013, I went to Atlantic, Georgia to compete. This year, recently, I just went to Las Vegas.
And I believe this is the second year of the first year last year when the bridge team was established. They went all the way to Atlanta and played in the tournaments. And this year you went to Las Vegas.
Yes, and next year I'm training to go to Chicago.
Is that Ms. Clark? Is that Ms. Clark's program?
Yes.
Yes.
She comes every week.
Well, thank you. Now you got a lot of things we got to pull out of you. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. You sure, Ms. Jackson? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just want to thank you and thank you. As when Anaya was coming up, she really didn't speak, in public. She really didn't speak to a lot of people. She just went with the flow, very quiet. And I've noticed through the district and being involved in a lot of different things, they brought it out of her. She's been from chorus to just everything, dancing, and she wasn't the type of kid that would go out. So I'm proud of her. And I just have to say, the district helped a lot with that. I'm grateful.
Do you have observers at the bridge tournaments when they're local? The bridge tournaments, can you have observers? Can we come watch?
You make can come watch. I believe you have to ask permission first, and then you can come and watch. You can actually come along.
Okay, well, let us know when you're local in New Jersey. We'll come out and support you, okay?
All right.
All right,
Thank you.
Melissa says she looks very nice tonight. I
Yes,
like
you
the
do.
flower.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
We'll now have a roll call. Councilman Kerry Coley,
Present.
Councilman Elroy Corbett.
Here.
Councilwoman Cynthia Eason. Councilwoman April Gaunt Butler. Councilman Harold J. Johnson Jr.
Here.
Councilwoman Jamie Summers Johnson.
Present.
And I am present as well. Also present from the clerk's office is Margaret O'Bear, Melissa Bradshaw, from the attorney's office, Ivan White, Director of Finance, Adrian Matt, Chief Financial Officer, Joy Viscari, Legislative Research Officer, Kevin Harris, for administration, Marty Mays. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. The requirement of NJSA 10:4-9 and such a law has been met. A notice of this meeting was sent to the Star Ledger and published in the record transcript on July 17, 2014, also posted on the bulletin board in City Hall and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. We'll now move to section 4, approval of the minutes. July 1st, 2014, reorganization, conference and regular meeting.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. Roll call, Councilman Coley,
In favor.
Councilman Corbett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton,
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gaunt Butler,
In favor.
and I am in favor as well. Moving on to our reports. Our open requests in August 2014, we had 41 open requests received, 131 items completed, and 2 pending. September 2014, 43 open requests were received, 205 items completed, and 13 are pending. Council reports. Police Department,
Council President,
Councilman Corbett.
today, the Orange Police Department had major issues with its phone system. If you tried to call 911 today, your call went through Bloomfield and then rerouted to Orange. If you had a non-emergency call, your call may not have been answered. The police director indicated that they were looking for hardware to bring the system up to speed. The system is very old and outdated, so they're trying to repair it. From what I heard, the last remark or comment that I heard from it is that the system is up and running. He believes that the fix that was put in will hold it until they are able to get the hardware that is necessary to keep it running. Also, the police director indicates that they will be attempting to use forfeiture money to get the hardware, if it's enough money in their kit. Right? Also, as far as the police department is concerned, we are waiting for the administration to hire a cleaning crew for the police building. And also, the police director is still and continues to wait for the approval of crossing guards, as well as adding more police officers to the staff.
Councilman Corbett, are you referring to the cleaning contract?
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Easton, you have a question?
Wasn't the update of the police department part of our plan for our members? So, if we're getting all of the stuff for the fire and public works, we have not did anything for the new system for the police department yet?
Captain Dunn,
Ma'am.
can you come up to the mic,
Yeah, sure.
please, sir?
Good evening, Captain Dunn with the Orange Police Department.
Councilwoman Easton asked, the bond ordinance, there was and I'm not sure, there was a portion of bond ordinance to install or upgrade the telecommunication system.
Yes.
Do you know the status of that, sir?
I don't know the status of it, even though I know there's been a lot of equipment installed in there in the last year. But I don't know the status, no, that would be a question for the director.
Okay.
So Marty,
Yeah,
you
that-
can answer that?
Yeah, I can answer that. That was approved, I believe, if not the last meeting, the meeting before that. I remember it was about $193,000. I just don't know when it will be delivered or when it will be installed. That's something I'd have to ask the police director. But I know the resolution was approved for a brand new communication system. That was one of the 2 items that they felt were emergency items. So I know it was approved already. I just don't know when it's coming or anything like that. I can find out and come back to you guys.
Would you please?
Yes.
Please to the email. Thank you. Councilwoman
Also
Thompson.
on the cleaning contract,
Yeah,
it's
the,
supposed
I'm sorry.
to go out for rebid. But in the meantime, Mr. Mays is working on getting the cleaning company to completely sanitize and clean the apartment building as a fix, because being that it's going back out for bid, it's gonna take a while, so. The mayor assured me today, with Mr. Mays, that they are working on getting a cleaning contract, just in light of all of the health issues that's going around.
Right.
So, as soon as Mr. Mays said he can secure a company, they will come in and clean and sanitize the police building. And on that note, Mr. Mays, when I had requested that we put the dispensers in and remove the bars of soap, have we done that in the bathrooms at least?
I think in most areas that's
Yeah.
been done.
I would say probably about 95% of the building has the hand soap now, not bar soap.
In the bathroom?
Correct.
We really got to get rid of the bar soap.
Any follow-up questions to the police report? Thank you, Captain.
You're welcome.
Fire department? None at this time. Housing authority?
Yes, Council President.
Yes, sir.
Just a snippet of a report here. I wanted to meet with Director prior to this meeting. We had an impromptu meeting with the Housing Authority. The attendees were Director McNeil, 2 of his commissioners, Councilman Coley, and myself. We wanted to cover a few things that might be of some interest to the council, the public, and for this council meeting. Several things have already been covered in the press and covered by the administration, but we just wanted to highlight what we discussed. With regards to the construction accident that took place on the Housing Authority site on Oakwood Avenue and Perot, and on both sides of the intersection, it was the result of the demolition contractor improperly gauging how the building would collapse. Nearby utility poles were compromised. The given the line tension coupled with the way that several transformers took the area out of service. The contracting company is dealing with PSE&G directly. No report of Orange Housing Authority or the city being held responsible, nor has there been any undue cost to the city. The Office of Emergency Management, Orange Housing Authority, commissioners, the city's first responders, the mayor, and several council persons were on the scene to work through what could have been a crisis for the city. Thank God there was no report of injuries or deaths as a result of construction accident. Power to the area was restored as soon as PSE&G could get it up and running. Council President, the second thing we wish to report on is the Orange Housing Authority is the winner of the Governor's Award of Excellence. The award is for Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the Walter G. Village project. The project was recognized by the agency, I believe that's HUD, the agency, the leading example, as a leading example of house-related redevelopment throughout the state. This story was covered in local newspapers and by the on local newspaper, the Record Transfer, October the 9th. They had an article on it. Orange Housing Authority will be rolling up their sleeves to bring about Phase 3 of the Walter G. Alexander Village project, and the demo work is done and the site has been cleared. This is a brief report today filed on behalf of Councilman Coley and myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional? Library?
Okay. I basically have the answers to 2 questions that were asked at the last meeting, and I also have copies for the public up at the table. There was questions about the grant for $750,000 for the New Jersey Historical Capital Improvement. There has been, they've received no funds to match it, so they received an extension, and also have a copy of the extension is up at the table until May 31st, 2016. About the donated computers from Orange Board of Education. They will be running the first week of November. They had a technician in there last week, but the all of the equipment was purchased in order to get them up and running, but they have to do it when the library is closed because it will shut down all of the computers in the building. So again, I have the information about the grant and the donated computers, and a copy of the amended grant is up on the table if anyone would like to take one.
Mr. Harris, can you assure the council members?
They have. The council members have the public email.
No. Finance Committee. As a reminder, the Finance Committee will be doing a public meeting on November 13, 2014 at 6:30 p.m. And it's a budget review, the status of our budget, and to see where we are, and to see and prepare for the 2015 budget as well. I believe there are, did I get all the different departments? I believe I did. November 13, 2014 at 6:30 p.m. here in council chambers. And the Public Works Committee, I don't think there is a report. Any recommendations?
Yeah, the next meeting is tomorrow night, and at the last meeting, we gave out misinformation because we couldn't meet on that Thursday. So the meeting is actually tomorrow night.
Time and place?
7 o'clock.
7 or 6:30? School, you remember?
Miss
7 o'clock here, 4th floor in the conference room.
Yes, Councilwoman.
You also know that's the meeting like with the planning board. Is that conflict?
We talked about that, absolutely. We talked about that, but that's the only time that we all can meet.
Councilwoman, the planning is in here, right, and they'll be over in the conference.
Right.
Public Works Committee.
We did talk about
Yeah,
that.
they have a smaller committee, I think it should be vice versa.
The Public Works is in the conference room.
They're gonna go into the conference.
Right.
Okay.
And planning is in here. Number 6 on the agenda, communication and petitions. There are none at this time. Citizens' comments on general issues and agenda items. Pursuant to Section 4-10 of the Code of the City of Orange Township, each person addressing the council should step up to the microphone, shall give his or her name in an audible tone for the record, and unless further time is granted by the presiding officer, shall limit his or her address to 10 minutes. The public is expected to conduct themselves in a proper manner. Any derogatory, abusive, or threatening statements will not be permitted. The chair will immediately rule such conduct out of order and terminate any further comments. I'm sorry. I'll speak with the board. Tell me I'm late, I'm sorry. Mr. Jeffrey Feld.
Good evening, my name is Jeffrey Feld, a local businessman whose business address is 268 Main Street, Orange, New Jersey. As my custom, I posted various heads-up questions and comments on the city's www.nj.com public website. First, I'd like to wish Larissa thanks for all your help in the last year with Oprah, and good luck, because this will probably be your last meeting at the city council. I want to wish you good luck. Also, we have an election coming up for our next city council meeting. I hope everyone goes out to vote and exercise your franchise. That's just a neutral comment. The last, I would say, 18 days have been very interesting. Whether it's my appearance before the local finance board, Last Tuesday night here with the best practices presentation, and in being in court on last Friday. Because last Friday there was a hearing, and it was pretty bizarre because I was being accused of wrongdoing for posting a videotape of the city council meetings on YouTube. And everyone looked at it and goes, wasn't Mr. Feld? And during that hearing, I gave you a copy of a handout, of an email from Joy Lascari to Joe Portelli. And one of the issues we do have on pilot payments is whether we are getting our payments timely and whether we're getting paid the right amount. And one of the reasons I'm being sued in a defamation action by RPM, I raised questions as to the payments whether payments were made in 2012, because one thing we now know is that the city's calendar year 2012 audit does not reflect any payments being made by RPM on the Grand Central Senior Housing Project and Central Orange 2 project. So we now have a problem with whether our calendar year 2012 audit needs to be amended because of a resolution this council passed about a month ago talking about municipal securities fraud. In addition, if you look in 2013, when the payments were made, pilot payments are made on the same dates that tax payments are. That's February 1st, May 1st, August 1st, and November 1st. If you look at here, the payments were not made on those dates. And you say, so what? Well, you can't say so what anymore, because today a tax court opinion was issued. It was yesterday. North Orrington Urban Renewal LLP versus the City of East Orange. Everyone is counsel. I asked the city attorney, Marty Mays, you need to read this tax opinion. It talks about financial agreements. In this case, East Orange let a redeveloper not pay its pilot payments for 10 years. This is a problem. When you also look at the remedy, you talk about if you don't make the pilot payments, we're entitled to interest. Has the city ever asked, we just heard how great Walter G Phase 1 and 2 was. Well, we found out last year that they didn't pay their Phase 1 and Phase 2 payments until December, almost a year and a half after they paid it. Did anyone ask them to make their interest payments? We're entitled to it. Because earlier this evening, we just heard the school board come in and say, we need to issue bonds. Well, why is it always the taxpayers that have to pick up the ball? Why aren't the redevelopers who have agreements being also told to pay their burden? This is something you have to think about.
I'm sorry, did you mean East Orange or Orange? Can you say
I said City of East Orange.
Okay, I just wanted to.
The City of East Orange. It's a tax case, North Orrington Urban Renewal. It's a Superior Court decision because it was referred from the tax court. You need to read it because some of the theories that I've been making are adopted by presiding judge of the tax court, Della Media. You need to read it. It's very important because of the concepts that we're talking about over the years. About minimum pay guarantee payments, when payments are due. He rejected the argument that the redeveloper needs to get billed. He also talked about the requirements of annual audits. And that's one of the other issues that arose in the hearing, that based on OPA requests, we've never seen the annual reports that are required by RPM for Grand Central and Central Orange Village 2 for the last 2 years. And also the council gets it. What's also amazing about tonight, there are serious things that happen. Last Friday, or Thursday or Friday, the city filed the calendar year 2014 best practices responses. I gave you a scorecard. 3 council members were not here last Tuesday. If you look at the scorecard, the answers, some of the answers changed. And some of the answers that changed are talking about when the budget was introduced, when the audit was filed, whether we can go to the website and find out what the salaries are of employees. 2 years ago, prior to Hurricane Sandy, a former judge, Rachel Davison, told the former assistant city attorney, Mr. McGovern, that there's a fine line between cute and egregious municipal behavior. None of you tonight, council members, talked about the change of answers. If you look at those answers, we're getting very close. I think we've crossed the line on some of these problems. And the reason we crossed this line is because we had too many no's, and getting too many no's, we reduced our state aid. In addition, look who signed as our chief administrative officer. Mr. Willis Edwards. And if you look at the thing, he doesn't even have a license. This is the problem we are having. Let's go to today's agenda. The new bond ordinance. No one thanked me for pointing out a mistake. If you looked in the first paragraph, it shows you when the bond issue was in 2008. Is it my job to point out when it was done in a mistake? Well, I did. No one picked that up. In addition, when you compare proposed ordinance 2014, and go back to September 2nd when we were on the agenda, what's the difference between this ordinance and then the ordinance that was withdrawn? In addition, on September 2nd, there was a resolution that said that we had to go to the local finance board. I don't see bond counsel here today, and one of the issues I posted was, if you do this bond ordinance, 2014, because you're talking about changing appropriations, do you need to go back to the local finance board for approvals? Because in September 2012 to September 2014, the first meeting, we were told we had to. I don't know if we do. We need to clarify whether the local finance board needs to approve 2014 before you can approve it before second reading. I don't know the answer to that. So I'm still waiting for various other documentation, such as the trust indenture for the 2002 issuance that I still have not received, and I'm still looking for find some certain change orders that we still haven't found from the 2008 transaction. One of the issues I've been asking for the last few meetings is all this capital equipment. It does not appear that the bond ordinance that we keep on talking about has been issued, because I have not received an QSIP number, nor have I received an official statement for that issuance pursuant to Oprah. We have certifications of availability. I do not know if there's actual monies in those accounts. Tonight, you have the CFO, the finance director, Mr. Mays, they should be able to tell us, is there money there, or is that just a bookkeeping entry because we appropriated monies to go there when we do the bond issuance? Or have we gone out with a bond anticipation note to fund it? I think at the minimum, the council and stakeholders are entitled to that public information. Like, if there is money in the account, how did it get into that account? Most important thing, corrective action plan. It's amazing that no council member raised a question about the proposed corrective action plan for calendar year 2013. I believe it might be premature to approve this prior to your discussion with the city's auditors. Again, I have not had an opportunity to review the correction action plan. I don't know what it says. There's been no discussion. There's been no presentation. But we have to be careful because last year we did not approve a correction action plan. And if you look at, it's very interesting. When I talk about the change comments, look at the change comments where they list all the same repetitive comments that have been made over the years. And the question is, are we going to continue to make the same mistakes? We talked about the monies. We talked about things. Oh, bill list. A couple issues. The same issue we always have. Salary and wages. This is about what, the fourth, fifth, sixth meeting in a row that there's no backup to the salary and wages. How much have we been paying? What accounts have been overpaid? We don't know that answer. It's never here. If you look at the bill list, I'm not trying to be a stickler, but there's 2 points that really picked up. You go to page 15 and 16. This 15 and 16, the last Lamb Krexer invoice number 8017, it's listed twice. So who does read these things? Why are we paying the same invoice twice on the bill list? In addition, are there people still here from the Board of Education? I'm glad that monies are going back to repay the school board. But if you look at the school board's, the entry regarding, let's see, I'll get to the page. The monies are going back to pay it, are coming out of the water utility. Why is the water utility refunding monies that were held by tax payments? Because the tax payments, my belief, would be coming out of the general fund, a tax account. Why isn't that account paying those monies? Why is the water utility? That's on page 13. Go to page 13. It says water sewer operating. It says Orange Board of Education, refund withheld water rents. Well, we were told it wasn't rent, What was it? Was it, because the payment that was supposed to be held, that they were paying, when we talk about the set-off question in August and September, that the payment that the school board's entitled to, which is like a tax payment, why isn't that account paying it back? Why is it coming out of the water sewer account? Monies are fungible. It's very fungible. But this is the thing, we have to be aware of which account, which money is going where to pay. Those are the things we need to look at. But please, please, when we talked about the email, Councilperson Easton, you were talking about Oprah compliance. On July 15th, 11:03 a.m., RPM requested the finance director for certain information. In less than 24 hours, they got a response. I'm still waiting for responses for months from the finance department. This is some of the things. I make Oprah requests. I don't know why someone who doesn't make an Oprah request gets quicker service than or any other citizen. Those are things you need to look at. We're getting very careful. Remember how I started this? Where Judge Davison said to the city 2 years ago, there's a fine line between cute and egregious behavior. You say, why do I care about Judge Davison? Well, Judge Davison sort of has a connection with Judge Rothschild, because during Hurricane Sandy, thanks.
Thank you. William R. Lewis.
Thank you, Council President, members of the Orange City Council. My name is William R. Lewis. I live at 688 Mosswood Avenue. And something I want to share with you. I'm going to introduce myself to you. We always believe that we know people and so forth. And it occurs to me that obviously you weren't around when I was more active, put it that way. But in any event, the reason behind it is to give you some help determining the worth of what a person says who comes up to this mic to speak. And as they say, I've said over the years, well, them as has gets. And, but essentially, just quickly, from my standpoint, I served 2 state task forces, one on school funding and another on civil service. And I was honored by the Anti-Defamation League of New York City for my work over there. And what is the impact that, what was the input you can draw from that? Well, it turns out that New York City and the state of New Jersey have almost the same population, about 8 million people. And somehow or other, some little kid from Newark and Orange had to be picked on these task forces out of 8 million people. So a person must have something to contribute, and it's not phony baloney stuff. And so when people come forward here to speak, make sure you get their credentials. In fact, shouldn't you invite anyone here who doesn't have credentials? Some people may get mad, but that's the way it is. But the point is that you can get led astray by someone who has a gift of gab and nothing to back it up. And believe me, there are people who practice that. They spend all their time learning how to be effective speakers to put across an issue, and very little time getting things done. And they can lead you astray, particularly as I tell the public, be careful of politicians who say this is for the children, for the senior citizens, and we want to help the old folks. That means they don't have a good story to tell. In addition, at NJIT, from which I graduated, I was, along with former Mayor Gibson of Newark and Bishop Francis from Trinity Cathedral, 3 of us were selected by the school to recruit the first engineering opportunity class at NJIT. And let me tell you, that program is one of the best in the country, so much so that Mal Thompson, who was the director of the program at the time, left and went to Washington to run the EOP programs around the country. So they have a lot, and they have a lot to offer down there. In fact, we went to meet with some of the folks in the historically black colleges. Talked about, of all things, teacher retention. And these folks from NJIT had a lot to tell them on how to help themselves and help their schools. But, so you have to be careful when you let people come up to speak. We had one guy, I can't remember, I'll bring it up again, as you maybe remember, came here and spoke at 3 Gorgon meetings. And he was talking about a motivational program for students. And then he turned out he wanted $7,000. So you have the keys to the coffer, and you have to be careful how you use them. The meeting last week, October 14th, was should have been better attended. That was an important meeting, and there were only 6 members of the public here. And if you really hew to the line, most of those 6 people were generally people who show up, and many of them are here tonight. And you really want to get this out because it's important to the citizens. You don't have the tool to broadcast, not that that should be a crutch, because you should have the ability, you each represent wards and whatever, wherever you want to go. And you should have some means of setting up communication so that you can tell the people, your constituents, when there's an important thing going on in City Hall or at the Board of Ed or any other place. Now, just going on, moving on to Resolution 273. You kind of discussed it here, but the fact is that when the council president said that that the courses had been discontinued, I suggested that you might want to canvass your people and then pick someone to canvass the other towns and see how many people can pull together and pull a staff, and Rutgers would be willing to hold a course for you. So, but the lack of information in that resolution bothers me too. And it tells me why you get into trouble. You get into trouble being vague. And so, going back to best practices, they ask a question, who is your administrative officer? Do you have an administrative officer? And people answered yes. And then the next question, now I'm speaking as a headquarters guy. Next question should have been, well, who is it? Name that person and the address and give me his phone number. Okay. But don't, because someone may come behind you and check to see who that person is. And I think one of the things that troubles me in government operations is that they make it more cumbersome than it is, because people don't know how to organize. And they do these things. I'm answering this question. I'm telling them we're covered. And then you get some wise guy in there like me, and I say, well, who is that person? And you don't have them. Well, we have monies that we have allocated to people, and there are recent cases of this in regards to the hurricane problems and some other problems. Nobody knew where the money went. So the state's got money. Well, who the devil in the state? And you send it to an empty box. I was talking to President of the School Board before the meeting. One of our neighbors died, Mrs. Kingslow. And in lieu of flowers, people were asked to donate to various organizations, one of which was the Urban League. So I was going to contribute make a donation to the Urban League, and I was in a hurry, I was rushing and everything because I had trying to get a furnace in and a bunch of other things. And so some time went by, I was a little late, later than I had planned on doing. So I picked up the phone and called the Urban League office number. And nobody picked up the phone. All I wanted to do was get the president's name. And I didn't have time to monkey around with it. I just addressed it to the president of the Urban League. and send it in. And too many in government do that out of hand with our tax dollars. And one of the things that you can do at this level is put clamps down on these folks and help them to make them do a better job. There's a report that's came out today, GAO, 57,000 government employees, federal government employees, received $775 million in disciplinary paid leave. They were paid, they were out because they were being disciplined, but they still collected their salary. That's tax dollars. And you say, why is it put? Because that's one reason why, among other things. But anyway, pay attention. What Mr. Fell said is correct, but you should be getting a copy. You should have gotten a copy of the best practices submission to Trenton, so that you can look at it and see what the dickens is being said. And you need to, go over that thing with a fine-tooth comb and make sure that everything is hunky-dory. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. James Scanella?
Hi, good evening. My name is James Scanella. I'm with a firm named Scaffar Contracting. We're located in Newark, New Jersey. For those that aren't aware, we're the firm that constructed the water treatment facility over on Chestnut Street. The project was completed well over 2 years ago, and there's been a delay claim floating out for almost 3 years now. I've been up here, this may be my third or fourth meeting, and I'm trying to understand what the continual delay is in us receiving payment for work that we did. Our project, basically there was a lot of unforeseen conditions. We moved forward with the work on good faith with the previous administration, understanding that we were going to be compensated. All the documentation was presented. It was approved. It was approved, endorsed by prior engineering firms. So there's really no reason why payment continually gets delayed. I sent an email to the governing body today in a last-ditch effort to try and get across my point and the urgency here. I brought my partners with me as well as my legal counsel, and they're both going to speak as well. But I just wanted to read this email and just get it on record as to the urgency, and my attorney will hammer home the urgency as well. I'm going to read verbatim from my email. Dear governing body, I'm writing regarding tabled ordinance 19-2014, which relates to the Scaffar Contracting Inc. delay claim in the amount of $1,204,987.88. It appeared at the last council meeting that various city council members are concerned about the surplus of funds that would remain after the claim is paid. Bond fund of $1.5 million versus claim of approximately $1.2 million, as well as the presentation of the ordinance document. Please be advised that while the city continues to debate these formalities and delay payment, significant interest and attorney fees are accruing, which will consume any anticipated bond fund surplus. Furthermore, in the civil action started to collect these funds, which is attached to my email, the court has entered a default judgment. The judgment provides Scaffar with the full contract balance, pre-judgment interest, and attorney's fees. While we would like to resolve this matter without any additional publicity or cost to the city, such a resolution must recognize that time is of the essence. There is no defense or excuse to the lawsuit. The failure to pay only increased the damages. I trust you will give this matter the attention these circumstances compel. To that end, I and my counsel intend to appear at the next board meeting to seek resolution or bring this matter into the public light. The continued delay of payment is reprehensible and simply unfair. Our 35-year family business has been severely crippled due to the city's ineptness. I have personally tried to work professionally with the city and to amicably resolve this matter. I have afforded the city an excessive and unwarranted amount of time to allocate the funds that are long due to Scaffar. and in return have been delivered empty promises. I hope all voting members are prepared to act appropriately and clear any remaining obstacles which continually postpone payment rightfully owed to SCAFAR. Should anyone wish to discuss the matter further, please do not hesitate to contact me, James A. Scanella, professional engineer with SCAFAR Contracting. I think that says it all. Our firm is basically at the wit's end. My legal counsel is going to push the matter more as to the repercussions. I've acted in such good faith for the last few years, and I take it personally that I've been treated very unfairly, and I've put us in a situation where our business may not recover. I'm a bonded firm. I have banking requirements. Because of this matter, I've been prohibited to bid on various projects that have come up. I'm a public contractor, so I have to bond all my work. And this $1.2 million debt, no one can understand, my bonding company or my bank, why I can't bring this money in. And I can't seem to get any definitive answer from anyone within the city, whether from council to the finance department. So I'm basically at my wit's end. I'm hoping that tonight this ordinance can be approved and it can clear the way for us to be paid, because we believe we did a great service for the city. A lot of the development that you guys are reaping the benefits of right now would have been halted in its track, and the record demonstrates that. So I just hope we can get this matter resolved and we can put it to rest. Thank you.
Mr. Scanella, you have your name twice.
That's my partner, he's my father as well.
And is James Scanella as well?
Yes.
Okay. So James Scanella Sr.?
Yes.
Mr. Scanella, are you coming to the mic to speak, sir? No? Okay. Thank you, sir. Sean Farrell?
Thank you, Council. My name is Sean Farrell, and as Mr. Scanella informed you, I'm his counsel. I'm with the law firm of Cohen, Siglis, Powell, Greenhall, and Furman. I'm a partner there, and our offices are in Islip, New Jersey. As Mr. Scanella apprised the council, we currently have a litigation that's going on, so I understand that we can't really have a dialogue really back and forth on some of the answers that Mr. Scanella is looking for. That said, because of the pending lawsuit, I'd like to just address the council as to the urgency of this matter, really talking to the council with really undisputed facts. And the undisputed facts, in chronological order, stem to about 2 years ago when SCAFAR Contracting did $1.2 million worth of extra work. They did this work. That is not in dispute. It was extra work. That's not in dispute. SCAFAR paid its men. Not in dispute. SCAFAR paid its union benefits. Not in dispute. SCAFAR paid its material suppliers. Not in dispute. It is as if SCAFAR has provided the city with an interest-free loan on this work for over 2 years. We know this to be inequitable. We know this not to be right. This is a small company. It's not Tishman, it's not Kiewit, it's a family-owned company that's been in business for 35 years, but is on the verge of collapse because of this payment issue. Mr. Scanella talked to you about certain financial and business issues. In this current environment of our banking world and surety world, these companies need assurances that receivables are being paid. They are asking and have been asking where this receivable is. The response has always been, well, the engineering department of the city approves it. Everyone seems to approve payment. We expect to get payment soon. Well, year after year, you can see where your credibility might erode with these banking institutions if you can never actually substantiate that any of the money is being paid. So this has really had a financial burden on SCAFAR. But I'm of the opinion that people are motivated by self-interest. So let me tell you where I think the taxpayer stands in benefit if this motion gets passed and SCAFAR receives timely payment. Currently, it's undisputed that SCAFAR did $1.2 million worth of work, yet the bond ordinance is in the amount of $1.25. That's a $75,000 benefit to the taxpayers. Let me tell you where this litigation is headed. Mr. Scannella correctly said that currently there's a judgment against the city. But will that bring the matter to an end? No, it will not. The damages will increase well beyond $1.2 million. How? Because of what Mr. Scannella told you about it being a bonding company. Meaning that bonding companies will typically give you 20 times your capital to go out and bid other jobs. So let's take that mathematics a little bit slower. If $1 million had been paid to Scafar 2 years ago, then it would have been able to get $20 million worth of bonding capacity to do jobs of $20 million. That's not a profit of $20 million, but certainly a reasonable overhead and profit of 20%. We get them $4 million in those sums over the last 2 years. That's where this litigation is headed. For me to put on the table a $4 million plus the $1.2 million. So I think the taxpayer is in a much better situation if we can quickly resolve this matter. This issue is not like a fine wine. It is not going to get better over time. This issue ages more like bread. And what we need is quick resolution from this council so that we can get paid within this calendar year for monies that's been outstanding for about 2 years. Imagine if you were owed $1.2 million for 2 years, how upset you would feel. And that's why if bringing your counsel to this meeting doesn't demonstrate the urgency of this situation, then maybe the tax ramifications to the taxpayers of the city will. I think that this resolution should be passed today, and we should move to get this money paid as soon as possible. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Caitlin Gordon.
Good evening, Kathleen Gordon, 211 Park Place. I would like to...
If somebody, I hear people in the back talking, if you would be so kind to go to the conference room if you need to talk. I'm sorry, Ms. Gordon.
Okay. So for the first time, I had a significant exchange of issues with my own ward council member, and I am going to try, therefore, feeling that my opinions will be represented, shorten my talking here. I will be depending on how it will work out in the future. I will shorten significantly my appearance here, or if it doesn't work out, I will be back. One issue that I am very interested in, and it is of urgency for me at least, I have until now not heard that you receive detailed OPRA reports. Beyond the one that is read regularly here, how many OPRA requests were done and or submitted, and how many is outstanding. Today I saw a report from one council member showing by name each one. Right out of that, this was a very short time I could take a peek. I disagree with one of the reports, one of the items that I personally know of. So therefore, I would like to ask you to provide those reports to us too, so we can see that we agree with it. What is the value of it if it is possibly not correct? Furthermore, I would like to know that whether or not this council has been aware of that I have submitted formally a number of OPRA complaints to the to Government Records Council, and the Records Council has come down with decisions that are not in favor of the city. Please, Council President, let me know. This is a question that I would prefer to get answered to. The second issue I am interested in is the bond ordinance in combination with rescinding Resolution 261, the supplemental loan to pay off SCAFAR contracting by this loan, and at the same time the introduction of Ordinance 2014. So I am interested to know, first of all, so has the city originally applied for this loan, and when? Because it was approved by the council in March. So what happened since with that loan, that application? Has it been submitted? Has it been approved? If not approved, why not approved? Secondly, I would like to know if this bond ordinance would be submitted, what would be, obviously it cannot be said for absolute certainty, but what would be roughly the cost of issuing the bond? I understand that the bond, generally, the fact that it is a bond has been approved, but this bond is not have been issued, and there is no sitting money there. I might be wrong about that. I want to know, please, that it is something that to be issued yet, or it is money that has been already issued and sitting in the city's coffers. And if it is the case that the bond has to be issued, that what kind of interest would the bond carry, and what would this, how would that compare to the interest to be paid on the environmental infrastructure loan, which is the one that is now to be rescinded, and finally, within the same group, so if this money is paid out to SCAFAR, and it was requested for the developing of and paying for the water infrastructure. So what will happen when and if the water infrastructure requires expenditures? So this much about the bond issue. As far as the pilots that Mr. Feld has mentioned, he mentioned that late payment should be, that late payment for RPM should bear interest. And I am interested to know what kind of interest, because we know that after a certain time the public pays 18% interest. Would that apply? Should that apply to RPM as well? I would add that it is in every pilot language that if payment is not made on time, the pilot agreement becomes null. And if the city chooses to enforce that, The city has never enforced such a thing, and why not? The pilots are very expensive for the public. As a last one, best practices. I was also here for that meeting, and I did mention the best practices number 5. Question number 5. It says that it is a question about that the city website containing minimally a number of things, and minutes and agendas, blah blah blah, regarding the planning board with other boards. I have requested by Oprah minutes of the planning board back for 2 years. The planning board provided as best one single minute. The planning board obviously does not provide minutes at all. So since the language is at minimum, all this has to happen. This question has to be no, and if I find, I am going to request it by Oprah what the city submitted, and if I find that it is answered yes, I request and I recommend, and I will do the same to notify the finance board that this is incorrect. Thank you, and I would like to get the
Respond to your
responses.
questions at the end. Who will respond to your questions at the end?
Okay.
Bruce Meyer?
Good evening, Council. Bruce Meyer, Berkeley Avenue, Orange, address, full out address is on request. Interesting meeting on many different levels. Just a few quick notes on the school funding. I don't get to hear much about the school's side of things too often. It's so separate from city council issues. But going back a little ways in history, there was court cases over funding for cities that had a lot of tax base and cities that had very little tax base. And that was the Abbott decision, which said that X amount of dollars, state dollars, had to go to schools to equal educational opportunities for less well-off cities. That was later dropped, and there was a funding formula that was put in place that basically filled in for the Abbott ruling that had been vacated. By my calculation, as of last year when I was looking into this, looking at what the state had withheld from the funding for Orange school systems, the cumulative withholding of funds by the state, by the Christie administration, as of last year, was in excess of $24 million. That's over a period of several years. But that's how much they're in the hole from the state, from policies of our governor, who our administration has come out and endorsed and worked for and stuff like that. So it's a little upsetting to see how far we are behind with the support of our mayor on that. On the agenda items, just a few notes, some of these things, I mean, you could spend a lot of time on this sort of stuff. The resolution for the corrective action plan, I was at that meeting. I've looked at those corrective action plans for years. I haven't seen what the resolution was on that, but Ms. Gordon is totally right. If they say that yes, we have a website that is up to date and has the information they say it have in, then that is a total lie. Everybody knows it. Nobody nobody thinks that our website is anything close to adequate for the city, and it's an embarrassment. Information is not up to date, information is not there, it's hard to find, information has been taken off, city council meetings, videos have been taken down. One other thing, comment on the consent agenda, and that is for application for funding for the Berg Hat Factory condominium project. When I see any of these projects that come forward in the valley that have been worked over the years, I mean, these are the projects that make the difference. These are the projects that get done with minimum cost. These are the projects that hold the future of Orange, and anything that this group can do to support the Hat Factory, HANDS, the arts programs, any of those things, I strongly support any of those things. So that is a wonderful thing. Now, general comments. We live in a democracy, actually a constitutional republic, but two sides of that. Folks have to go out and they have to vote for people to represent them. You are all voted in, you are representatives of the citizens. Citizens have an obligation to back you up, to support you when you're doing things that are correct, and to make sure that you have the support to get your job done in a meaningful way, and to support you when you need that help. They also have the responsibility to point out things that aren't correct. And we've been getting a lot of those up here. Unfortunately, we hear more of the negatives than the positives. But the fact is, you have to have both of those. You have to have citizen participation, or you don't have a democracy. You cannot have citizen participation if you don't have transparency. If people don't know what's going on, if information is withheld, you have nothing. You have shut down the government that you have. You therefore have a shell government, a totalitarian state that does whatever the heck they want, and may or may not do things for the public, but you have lost the government system in place in this country. Now, the website I've already mentioned, it's an abomination. The fact that you don't have these meetings broadcast, an abomination. There's a lot of people. I get more phone calls from people, I don't even know who they are. They track me down because they happen to come across my postings of some of the web the city council meetings, which is, it's an embarrassment that I have to do. Just a citizen has to go to all that trouble to get that up on the web. But the fact is that they want to see it in real time. A lot of our citizens don't have internet access, do not have computers. They don't have that, the knowledge to do that. They want a chance to tune into Channel 35. Now, there's no reason that that can't be done. The piece of paper that was put out last January requesting $46,000 for equipment, anybody knows anything about the equipment, it's all top of the, it's outrageously expensive for things we don't need. This can be done right now. And if there was something that needed to be done, there's ways of getting grants, there's ways of going to Comcast, there's any numbers of ways. But to sit here and grumble about it not being broadcast, I appreciate that the council is spending some money to have somebody sit here and put a video out on it. I did the last meeting on my own little handheld video. It suffices, but it's not the same as broadcasting on Channel 35. Every single meeting, you need to protest. Why is this not up? You know, do you have to go to the public news station and get some of those reporters to help you out to track it down? I mean, these are things that you should be doing. It should not be accepted that way. transparency, Open Public Records Act. We had a couple hundred that was mentioned here. In fact, I think if you go back and look in the last year or so, there's thousands of them doing. Now, when I retired as an airline captain 8 years ago and started coming to these meetings and stuff, there was no Oprah requests going out. There was no information coming out. I got wined and dined and squired around by then clerk, because the clerk thought he could have me do things for him. It was not true. And when that was not true, it got shut down. I could not, even as a chairman of the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee, get information out of the clerk's office. Refused. When I did get information out there somehow, when the clerk was gone and the staff has always been overworked and wonderful, I had to pay for it. This is the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee doing work for the City Council. Now, things have changed. We have a new city clerk. We've always had some persons, Maggie, working up there who's worth 3 people. But we also have another person who came in to volunteer and to begin with, and then to work part-time, and that's Larissa Bradshaw, who's sitting up here at her desk over there. When she came in, suddenly, finally, the previous clerk's office started to get organized. You go in there, you couldn't find a thing. There was nothing you could find in the clerk's office. It's a monumental amount of work that went into organizing the clerk's office. Not only that, there was a system put in place to crank out the Oprah requests. And as things have gotten, as the transparency in the city has gone down, the Oprah requests have gone up. And each one of those Oprah requests goes out from the city clerk's office, who is, legally has to have that information. But if the rest of the city won't give it to the clerk's office, that's tough. So for the past, whatever amount of time we've had a person who has put up with no guff, who's run down the hall, who's demanded the stuff, who's been an advocate for the citizens, an advocate for transparency, and an advocate for every person in the city of Orange. Couldn't get her on full-time, get any of the mayor's friends on full-time in a matter of an hour, trying to get the benefits. For Larissa Bradshaw, forget it, he couldn't get it done. So I understand that she's leaving that position. Any way you can pay her to come back, at least part-time, please do it, because she has made a huge difference in here. And as I go, I'm going. You know, you've got to pay your bills. If you haven't paid your bills, what here is an embarrassment. And I personally will start a recall for every single person here. No, if you don't pay that tonight, it's unacceptable.
Thank you. Patrick Morrissey.
May I pass something out to the council?
Yes.
My name is Patrick Morrissey. I'm Executive Director of Hands Incorporated. Our office address is 15 South Essex in Orange, New Jersey. I have very good news to announce, and I'll take less than 3 minutes to do it. The first major market rate condominium project in Orange in at least the last 6, 7, 8, maybe more years is about to begin. And that is the Hat City Lofts down on the corner of Nassau and Jefferson Streets in the Valley. That's the former Berg Hat Factory. We have persevered. We have brought the funding in. We've brought the financing in. And construction is scheduled to begin in December or January. And will take about 12 months to build out. And we'll have 32 new loft condominiums within the 2 old hat factories there. This is a $9 million project. The last funding was just brought in, which is $2.3 million to support this market rate project. The selling prices are between $144,000 and $274,000. We already have substantial interest from potential buyers. We took 22 deposits on one weekend in June, and then we shut it off and are collecting a waiting list. I think this is going to be a major stimulus for both the housing market in Orange, but also the whole image of what's going on. I think this will be, I hope, and it's intended to be, a big contributor to Orange's renaissance and to Orange becoming the great little city that we all know it to be. You have a resolution, required resolution by the State Housing Mortgage Finance Agency on your consent agenda tonight, number 268. I was happy to see it on the consent agenda. And I thank you for your support. And anybody have any questions, let me know. If you want to come down and tour the project, we can do that. What I gave you was a sales brochure. Anyhow, we're off and running, and I think it's great news for Orange. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori Stewart?
Thank you, Frank.
Good evening. Gloria Stewart, a resident of Orange. I'd like to first start off by saying I was happy to see Mr. Lee here, school superintendent, asking and pleading for, partnership, continued partnership to help our school district. And also to the president, I too noticed the flag that was tattered, and so I'm glad you spoke on it. And hopefully throughout the district, it will be taken care of. I can remember Mr. Jackson working at Oakwood. Daily, he would take the flag down and raise it every morning. I know that's not being done now, but that was the pride he took in as a veteran. So that was one of the things I thought was nice. I want to just say it was a good segue for me to come up behind I think Mr. Meyer, because he said a lot of the things that I sort of feel, and I want to just say my credentials first is, when you speak of a democracy, a government of the people, by the people, for the people, I think that's so very important. And when you come up, you bring ideas, you point out issues that maybe need to be looked into. That's what we do. And that's part of the credentials of being a resident. So in terms of you being on the council, it's not to say that, you know all, you're there, you learn, you do what it takes to move the city forward. And even with that, you might stump your toe a little bit, but that's okay as long as you put a Band-Aid on it and keep moving. I want to just touch bases on a few things, and I guess I don't really understand when you're talking about the bond ordinance and the people that were here asking, to be paid, and just like everybody else, if you owed money, you want it. But you correct me, and I don't know if it's the one from 2008 or if that's related as something totally different, and even if it's not, the thing is, that's a long time. And when I look around as a person who's been coming to the meeting, why did that happen? Where are the people who were here and responsible for that? That's why we need to dot our I's and cross our T's. So I can sort of understand that if this is the case with the 2008 situation, you need to take your time, find out the cause, and make sure that it is what it is. And I'm not saying that it is not what it is, but because I would say most of you were not here, if that when it took place, then you need to be diligent now and do what it takes to get it worked out. And I always remember the reservoir situation, how that got away from the township of Orange. It could have been better. So think carefully, dot your I's, and cross your T's when it comes to these type of situations. I want to touch a base, I guess sort of with the road situation. And again, I'm going to tell you, coming on Main Street down past Scotland Road, you don't want to ride on the side that's near the yellow line because it makes your car, it's worse than I said, speed bumps. It's, and I'm going to say to you, if anything happens to my car, I'm going to find somebody to fix my car. Okay, I'm just pointing that out. It is awful. And then not only just Main Street, riding throughout the city, you got holes, no cones there. And when the only thing you can say was after you hit the cone, oops, because you go up like that. And that's the damage to your car suspension. So I'm just bringing that before you. And I'm sort of going all over the place, but I want to say thank you to Councilwoman Summers Johnson for her library report. And what I also took pleasure in, and I think I saw her leaving Haywood Avenue School with your child or someone. I thought that was commendable. So, I'm for advocates in public education, so I thank you for that. Now, moving back to the library report. Now, we had an issue with the $750,000 grant. We had an extension, but my thing is, let us not lose it. So I don't know if you're able to negotiate, to work with the people who have an opportunity to make that happen. We need to make it happen, which is going to lead me to something a little bit different. We have people coming in, they want to put builders up, more apartments, more condominiums, whatever. I think we need to get something from them. How can they help us match that grant? You're giving them something. Help us match the grant for that library. Because when you're bringing in those kinds of things like condominium, and you're expecting to get people to purchase it, don't you think they would want a nice library that they can visit here in Orange? So they don't have to go to East Orange or West Orange? So this is just food for thought. And then to move on, I know the school is doing certain things, but what about a recreational center? Just because they're coming in and they're offering these buildings, do something for the children. Don't just keep taking, and then the next thing is going to be a tax abatement. This is what they asked for. So this is some of the things I've learned during my tenure here. And then I want to move on. I came last 2 weeks and I saw my Marty sitting out there with me. But I'm back here and he's up there. So my thing is, and I know you say you can't get a BA because of the situation, but you do resolutions to change other things, even if it means changing your form of government. Maybe we need to do something so that situations like this don't exist. Now, Mario needs to be in his space doing what he does. I think best, Mario, with the public works. So that's a compliment. So that's what we need to look into. We need a BA up there. And then I'm going to go back to my next pet peeve. You have the financial director who's the mayor of Plainfield. So is that a conflict? And I find that it is. Either we're going to look like Plainfield. I know Plainfield is not going to look like us, and I'm being serious. And it really bothers me. Now, in his city, does he have a BA sitting up there in his meeting? So how can you do, that's double standards. Let's get a BA so that we can do things in order. And maybe not experience the financial situations that we now have. So, like I said, that's food for thought. Let's do what we need to do to get a BA there. Write an ordinance, write whatever you need to do. City government. So, I'm like sort of putting that into your corner. Then I want to go to the housing authority. Now, and I thank Mr. Johnson, Councilman Johnson, for his report. And explaining to us what happened with the electrical thing. Now, I know those people will take care of the financial aspect of it, and you don't have to pay a cent. Housing authority. Now, you said phase 2 and phase 1. They're going into phase 2 now, which is going to be deployed by the school. I'm understanding. More apartment. Phase 3, more apartment. And I'm going to say this again. I hope they don't look like the ones that's next to me down on Oakwood Avenue, further down. They have a tendency to me to look like something, I don't know, like a prison confined or something. It's not as nice as the ones that are already over there on Perot Street. They are really nice. And then, instead of all the houses that we're building, let's do something like a department store. I go on Central Avenue, they're building a 7-Eleven there. I think that's West Orange, right? This outskirt, is that?
Yeah.
Can't we do something instead of building these houses, these condos? We got enough, 2.2 square mile. The school system probably having a tendency to burst at the seam, and we got our superintendent here asking for space to try to, take care of those needs to keep us moving forward. So again, let's think about these things that we're doing to Orange. Let's make it positive. Nothing wrong with a Chevy, don't misunderstand me, but sometimes it's good to ride in a Cadillac. So if you got the funds or whatever it needs for the city of Orange, let's think Cadillac, if you understand the direction in which I'm going.
Ms. Sewell, that's your time.
That's my time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now.
You'll be back. You'll be back.
Oh, yeah, most
And I
definitely.
have to keep you tight because I have
It's okay, I don't have a
No,
problem
I'm
with
just, I
it.
have to get bond counsel up, so I will just.
Okay.
Okay, so.
I just want you to answer my questions. I'm gonna sit down because you gotta do what you gotta do.
We're gonna answer every question.
Understood.
Yes.
All right, be back.
A motion to close citizens' comment. Moved by Councilman Porter, second by Councilwoman Gordon Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Before we go into council comments, I'm going to take the privilege of the chair, and we're gonna have some concentrated dialogue because the bond council has to leave at 10. So, and this is regarding 19 and 2014. If there are any questions specifically for bond council, council members can let me know this time.
We don't understand it.
No. Councilman Crowley?
Yeah, the specific question that,
Mr. Johnson, can you come to the front, please, sir?
that Mr. Fells asked, can we, do this, being that this is an older, bond?
Can we reallocate?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Good evening, Everett Johnson, bond counsel to the city of Orange, lawfully one scope dispenser. The answer is yes, under section 39 of the local bylaw.
And the interest rate,
That's not a question for bond council, that's a financial question.
why is it?
Legal questions.
But it's not, I can answer that briefly. I know somebody else hinted on that. There's not a new bond issue, so we're not issuing bonds going forward, so there will be no interest, any new interest on bonds. I don't know what's going on, how the monies are being currently invested from the old bond issue that took place years before I was here. But what's happening now is they're reappropriating monies from an old bond issue that weren't, I guess, I'm assuming the project was completed at some point in time. There's excess proceeds left over and they're reappropriating that money to this purpose. So there's not going to be any new debt issuance by the city with this bond ordinance. It's really a reappropriation ordinance.
You didn't answer the question. You didn't answer my question.
I have one other question. How everything is structured and set up now, can this be resolved tonight?
No.
Can you guys vote on the ordinance tonight?
Yes.
Yes.
It's going to two readings, it'll be the first reading, second reading. It's ordinance. I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. Okay. Councilman Porter?
Yes, I just have one question. I think the question was asked here tonight. Is it necessary to go back before the local finance board with this bond request?
Well, we're not asking for a new debt issuance.
Right, so it's already been established, was already approved, so it's not necessary to go back before the local finance?
That's correct. The ordinance was approved by the finance board originally.
Right.
We're not asking for any new debt issuance, which is really a reappropriation ordinance, not a bond. We're not asking anyone to bond money.
Right, it's already there.
It's already there. It's not really a bond. It's an ordinance, but it's not a quote-unquote bond ordinance.
Right. Just wanted to clarify.
Any other questions for Mr. Johnson? I just wanted to go through. And Mr. Matt, I'm going to bring you up and if you can just say, just to see if there's going to be any feedback or
Sure.
questions of Mr. Matt. Mr. Matt, the question was asked, repurposing these funds versus taking the loan out. Can you give a comparison of which would be better for the taxpayers of Orange?
There is no doubt that the repurposing of these funds would be in the best interest of the taxpayers of the city of Orange, for the simple reason that we have funds in-house. If we were to go out with a new bond ordinance to borrow these funds, then we will be incurring additional debt. That is the reason why we opted not to go forward with the NJEIT loan, because that would be an additional debt. And because of the fact that we identified funds in this particular bond ordinance that can be repurposed in order to satisfy this obligation, we opted to go in this direction, and we strongly encourage the governing body to grant its approval.
Thank you. And did administration apply for, did the loan process begin?
Yes, the loan process was well underway, and we interrupted that process.
Thank you. Councilman Cole?
Was that resolution 69, 2014?
There is a resolution on the agenda this evening that is seeking to rescind the previous resolution that authorized the application to NJEIT.
Councilman Corner?
Yes, Mr. Mapp, can you tell me exactly how much money remains from this bond from 2008 or 2002? Or both?
Give me 1 second.
To the audit.
And just for a matter of record, I'm going to have to bring Mr. Elliott after we finish. I did forget to bring Mr. Elliott, and I apologize. The citizens' comments, I apologize.
In response to that question from Councilor Corbett, there is currently, as of the end of December, when the audit was completed, an amount of $4,783,000, $4,783,449.81. And that amount was previously just around $3 million until we made the adjustment to correct the error of roughly $1.6 million that was erroneously reflected. And I alluded to that, I believe, at the last meeting.
And I know I did ask the question in the last meeting, in addition to the 1.5 or the 1.2 that was sitting there, was there any other monies remaining? And your answer was no. Maybe you didn't know that it was there, maybe someone didn't communicate it to you.
Perhaps your question wasn't clear. There are two ordinances. There are two ordinances that are involved. And if you're referring to Ordinance 8-08, then there's only about $32,000 against that. The ordinance that has the $4 million is the ordinance that we are now repurposing the 1.25 from that ordinance to place it against ordinance 8-08, which is the ordinance for the wells, from where we will then make the disbursement. So one ordinance currently has almost 0, the other ordinance has 4 point.
So it's the one from 2002 that has the 4.7.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Mosley, can you come up, please? And this is probably looking forward. This project was done in support of possible new redevelopment and needs that were done, needed for our water infrastructure. Can you speak to future needs for expansion of the water infrastructure?
You know, if you ride down Main Street today, you'll see that there is a leak at 555 Main Street in front of Kirk's, in front of Carl's. There's a leak there. There's a leak right off of Freeway Drive West. What's the name of that street, Marty? Right over there by Oakwood? Webster Place. There's a leak on Webster Place. We were out dealing with there's an issue on Argyle where we had a sewer main, essentially a sewer main collapse over there. There are always going to be these manifestations of situations that are going to need to be addressed. We have an old system, and so those types of situations are always going to pop up. We have been able to address the issue in the old pump station. As you remember, we had a significant leak there. We were losing over 200,000 gallons a day. We were able to abate that situation. However, there are other issues. For instance, we have issues with some of the pumps in the new station. That's being addressed. And so there are other issues, those kinds of issues that we have, and there are always going to be maintenance issues that we have to address. And so we stay on top of those.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, so that we can allow Mr. Johnson to leave, I just want to be sure there are no more questions for Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, we'll contact you regarding the public hearing and just to see if you can just ensure that your attendance will be here for the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, but do you need him to wait?
No.
No, okay, yes.
In the title of the ordinance on the agenda, there is an error in the title, but the error is not in the actual ordinance. The title shows 1.5.
There is a revised agenda on there is a revised.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you.
What was the mistake?
Miss Elliott, I apologize in my haste to kind
No
of.
problem. I understand. Hey, I keep my eye open to catch the last bus if need be.
Real quick, come.
Okay, I'll try to be brief as I can, and you know how rare I stand before the governors and the good people of Orange, New Jersey. I'm a native myself. I'm Walter Elliott. I'm currently at 156 South 12th Street in Newark, and I work out of 26 Main Street, the offices of Local Talk. And I'm here officially on behalf of Local Talk News' Community Foundation. It's that time of year again. We are announcing our 5th annual high school public speaking scholarship competition. I've been out, Mr. Shaw and I, the founder, have been out in the area this week, going out to the various high schools and letting people know through cards and through posters, cards and posters, about our two-stage competition. The competition will be, the preliminary competition is scheduled for November 1st at Irvington Town Hall. And the championship round, for the 4th time in our last 5 years, will be held at our own Bella Italia restaurant in the Valley section. We've had representatives from Orange High School before and from the Orange area before. We're looking forward to that. It's open to any high school student in Essex County. Public, private, charter, religious, as long as a high school student, and that's in Essex County. In Essex County. We prefer, he used to have Essex County, was our regional territory for local, but Essex County. We opened that up in the last year or two. I'm going to leave some materials out on the table. It's also in our current papers. There's a full page right there in the current edition. And feel free to ask us questions. Local Talk at AOL.com will do the trick for us. And that's all I have to say. So
The championship, what's the date of the championship?
November 22nd.
That's the 23rd.
Oh, excuse me.
It's a Saturday.
I had Saturday down. I have it published just the 22nd, but wherever that Saturday in that November date, honoring the 22nd. But again, I'll have these out in the lobby.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elmer.
Thank you very much for your time. You know how sensitive I am about being up here. I'm only up here when I think I need to be up here. I try to yield time to the public who don't have as often an opportunity to speak as I may have.
Thank you very much, sir.
Council President,
Yes.
I have a question. Can you give me the times of those events?
Oh yes, okay.
Miss
We're currently scheduled to start at 10 a.m. at Irvington Municipal Hall, 1 Civic Square, and at 11 a.m. Later in November at Bella Italia.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
This council comments, Councilwoman Summers Johnson.
All right, my meeting dates were approved by the board, so I will be having my South Ward community meetings 4 times this year. November 12th is the first meeting, then December 17th, March 11th, and November 12th, December 17th, March 11th, and June 10th. They're all at 6 o'clock at Haywood Avenue School. And at that time, residents will be able to put their concerns in writing so that I will be able to use that information to help them. Because as you hear people come up, and I'm always going to comment that people are concerned, however, they haven't contacted the clerk's office. They haven't contacted the South Ward councilwoman. So as far as I'm concerned, unless they bring these concerns to me, everyone in the South Ward is so happy. So I need them to come to these meetings. Therefore, I can help them. And for the residents that have been calling me and emailing me, we have been able to get many things done. But again, I can't do anything without them telling me what their concerns are. So that's November 12th, December 17th, March 11th, and June 10th at Haywood Avenue School from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Councilman Johnson?
I'll be brief. My neighbors and myself have been on a journey since 2010, and we're really excited that we're actually going to get our street repaved. I think it's a big day for the community. I take my hat off to the administration, DPW, especially Marty. The 4th District of the West Ward has been literally having a makeover. People are starting to reinvest in their properties now that they're curbing and sidewalks, Carteret Terrace, Adrian Court, along with Highland Avenue. It's a shame we came up short and couldn't do anything with Carteret Place. But we just like to thank the administration and especially Marty for doing a yeoman's job on seeing that that section of the West Ward was taken care of. Thank you.
Councilwoman Barbara?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Just wanted to mention a couple of things. Again, I'm going to mention that I'm very, very disappointed that the meetings are still not being televised, and as one of the members of the public mentioned, it is time to do something else than just sit here and complain about it, so I will take that matter into my own hands. Also wanted to mention that I agree with someone else from the public who made the comment about the corrective action plan. I've been asking about the corrective action plan and the progress from it for the last year. And I do believe it's just a cursory response to things, and it's not really in-depth and really, I guess, thoroughly thought through. So I did want to mention that. The other thing I'm very concerned about, and I've mentioned it several times as well, is with regards to the bond ordinance. I feel like we need a spending plan. We need not spend all the money now and then end up in the same situation once the materials or the capital assets that we purchase depreciate. And so I'm still looking for that. Last but not least, I have a question for, I guess, Director Mapp. And my question is, and I think one of the members of the public posed it for me, but my question is, are the accounts that we see the certificate of availability for, are those accounts funded now? Is there money in those accounts now?
Anytime you receive a certificate of availability of funds, it means simply that the CFO has certified that those funds are available, and she is in a position to sign that certificate of availability of funds, thus enabling you to award a contract to which those funds will be attached.
So in summary, yes.
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you. And the last thing that I just wanted to mention is I did want to go on the record and thank Larissa Bradshaw for the organization, the expertise, and certainly a level of competency that she brought to the clerk's office. She will be sorely missed. We wish her well, but I did want to make sure that I mentioned that she did contribute greatly to the clerk's office. Thank you for your service. Thank you, Council President.
Councilwoman Eason?
I also want to echo Ms. Bradshaw for her professionalism and her hard work, and all the organization, especially with Oprah, that you brought to the clerk's office. We are going to miss you. Hopefully maybe this is short term and you will return and help us with some things. We'll keep in touch. I also, I talked the last meeting about the recognition that we do for people that are deceased, and I want to read a letter from Ms. Kinslow's daughter. And it's addressed to Mr. Crawford Daniels, because we did send her the proclamation in the mail. Mr. Daniels funded that himself. It came back, he had to resend it regular mail. So I just want to read her response. Thank you for your letter and your kind effort to have a proclamation drawn up in order of my mother. She was a very committed to the improvement of Orange. So this is a nice recognition. When she goes on to talk about the package coming, and she couldn't certify, so she sent it back, and Mr. Daniels had to resend it regular mail. So this is just a thank you, and thank you for understanding. Sincerely, Marcia Kingslow. She lives in Annapolis, Maryland. So, and that was some of the things that I was talking about last council meeting. We gotta make sure that the person that we are honoring has a person in the area. And she seems to have some difficulty receiving, so she's just thanking for the proclamation. I also want to thank Mr. Mays for High and Washington Street for fixing the leak. And I happened to be out there that day. It happened just as he said. They started to close it up. 2 other leaks sprang forth, so they had to go back in and redo it again. So the pipe is just so old, as it fixed one leak, another happens, and another happens. But thanks that it is all finished. I'm still waiting for my signs on Cleveland and Washington. And Mr. Mayor, what is the status of the planning board computer? I know we talked about this. Did you get an answer?
Yeah, the planning board computer is in my office. We're
Yeah.
gonna install it tomorrow, hopefully.
Larry will be happy. And what about, Main, did we talk to public service about Main and High Street between Main? Are they gonna come back and redo that?
Yeah, they are gonna come back and do that. I didn't get a chance to speak to council president, but, I'm sorry, who's our representative that came here from PSCNG? Mr., I can't think of his name, but Everton Scott, I think. He came and met with me over that, so we should see something happen there soon.
It is horrible. And is there any update on these parking meters? I know we had decided that we didn't want a parking authority, but don't you think it's time we did something with the parking meters so we can recapture the revenue?
Yeah, that's a Chris Mooney question. I think he stepped out from there.
So, you guys have an update for us in the next
I
meeting?
can ask
How
him.
we gonna address it, because most of them are against the road. So
Okay.
we need to, make sure. And I'm hoping that everyone is planning to participate in the parade on November the 1st for homecoming, which conflicts with, something else. But the football game, and they are expecting the council to march in the parade. So, thank you.
Is that it, Councilman Lisa?
That's it.
Councilman Corbett?
I will not be able to march in the parade. Yes, you will. As Mr. Elliott indicated, the preliminary round of the 5th local talk public speaking contest is being held on that day. And the grand prize once again is $5,000, and I think there's going to be some first and second and third place winners that are also going to receive I think $2,000 and $1,000. But I think that the town and the entire city of Orange would be happy to know that we have 6 students from the city of Orange who will be participating in this public speaking contest. Council President, can you tell me where we are in our search for a qualified clerk?
I'm sorry,
Can you tell me where we are in our search to find a qualified clerk?
The personnel committee will update you shortly, in the near future.
Now, the meetings that continue to be ignored and not televised, we have many people that are asking for our council meetings. Not only are we hurting the community by not showing them where they can see what's happening in their local government, but we're also hurting the town in terms of advertising what's going on in our community. We have that community bulletin board that would always scroll back and forth up and down our local television station, and that's not out there either. So that's hurting us. So does anyone remember the name of the company that installed our video equipment?
Franco?
Yeah. Can we bring them in here and perhaps get them to go look back there to see exactly what the issue may be? Because I'm having a very difficult time swallowing $42,000, for that equipment. 46,000. I think it would be only right that the person who installed it could come in and take a look at it and tell us exactly what the issues are.
Councilman Corbett? The issue is access. The issue is access. If the administration get access, we've got several proposals. So If you want a second, I can, ask
Would you
ask
please?
Tom from Grand Co, but
The
he would
court-
have, he would have to be given access.
Into the room.
Right. And to look at all the equipment. And it's not just the room, it's the equipment that we have and assess the equipment.
So let's figure out what we can do if they do not allow him access into that room. It has to be something that the council can do. And finally, I also want to thank Ms. Larissa Bradshaw for all of her hard work as she served us well. I'm hoping that, because I know it's been mentioned about Larissa holding on or continuing on as a part-time employee, I think that might work for all parties concerned. It certainly will help the clerk's office. It certainly will help each council member here, and it certainly will help you. So thank you for what you've done, and I hope you continue on a part-time basis. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Councilman Coleman?
Yes, I have a couple things I want to talk about. The Oprah request. I know, correct me if I'm wrong, once the request is made, it has to be complete within, what, 7 days?
Yes.
7 days.
Unless,
You have to respond.
unless they're unable to respond.
Okay, that's fine. And in the report that was given to us, we have several, I guess, comments, like pending. Now, pending can mean several things to me. But is pending meaning that the clerk office just put it down and they decided not to do it? I mean, complete it, or whoever? Or does it mean that the clerk office did everything they can do, but they just didn't get all the information from whatever department? So my question is, when I see something that's pending, I think it should be something more attached to pending, kind of explaining in detail what they did as far as the that open request. Secondly, the agenda, as soon as humanly possible, when it's finalized, it should be put on the city website. And that leads me to my second question about this governing body here creating, our own website and maintaining our own website. The County of Essex have their own website. The County Clerk had their own website. So I don't see no reason why City of Orange had their website. Municipal Council had their website. I don't see why it can't be done. And another issue, the Environmental Commission that was created some time ago, and I don't think that that the administration did anything with this commission. So I think that we need to revisit that resolution and change the verbiage and give the control back to the governing body here, so we could move that commission in the right direction. And Mr. Mapp, I've been speaking about my budget worksheet for quite some time now. Is it complete?
At the meeting that we had, I believe it was last Thursday sometime, they said a week to 10 days, so you'll have it. You'll have it this week.
Today's Tuesday.
Okay. You have it.
Okay. That's a promise, a pinky promise. This is
You will have it. It's
okay.
on the record.
On the record.
You will have it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 5-9 through Lincoln Avenue, the old police station. When the police moved out of that building the summer of 2001, it was dilapidated, horrible. And it's still in that present state. And if the Board of Ed have a vision and goal in mind to, do what they need to do with it, to expand their educational plan, I think this governing body here, as soon as possible, should pass whatever ordinance or resolution, whatever it is, to transfer that property back over to the school board. And I think that's all what I have right now. Thank you, Councilman.
And Council, please forgive me, I forgot to answer the questions. And I'm going to go through them. Mr. Matt, regarding the corrective action plan, there was a question about that, but that will be removed from the agenda and will be placed on the agenda at the November 5th meeting. Mr. Matt, the bill list has been brought up, to your, regarding salary and wages on several occasions that portion has been omitted. Can you please give us an update as well as the citizens an update regarding that portion?
It simply means that the data has not yet been entered into the general ledger system.
Do you know when that will be, we can catch up and we will get that portion back on there?
Let me ask the CFO. By the next meeting.
By the next meeting? Okay. And also, there was a question on page, did you realize there was a duplicate on the bill list? Was that a duplicate on page 15 regarding?
I heard that statement, and we would have to check because there are two different purchase orders, so I don't know that to be a duplicate.
Can we, please, oh, you had two different, I see, so. Okay. And then on page 13 regarding the refunding to this Board of Education, is that out of the proper fund?
That is correct. If you recall, that pertained to payment for water. And payment for water goes to the water utility. So if the amount that was previously withheld from the remittance to the Board of Education is to be returned, then it is returned from the fund where it was credited.
And next question, that's it for you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Gordon, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Easter, to answer some questions. You want the question regarding the bill list? I didn't hear you.
You asked a question about the salary wages on the bill list?
Yes.
But in the best practice, that's one of the questions they answered yes to that said all of that stuff was available. I haven't seen it anyway.
Okay, what is the question?
About the salary and wages for all employees is readily available for review.
That's a different question.
But I'm looking at best practices that says.
That has nothing to do with the bill list. The salary and wages can be found on the city's website and can be gotten from the clerk's office for every employee.
If you don't update anything as you need, you update that monthly?
We provided it at the meeting last week. We said it will be available on the website and in the clerk's office prior to us submitting the best practices. And we completed it, and we will update that from time to time, but I can tell you that anyone who wants to know that information can now go to the city's website, and it's right there, or they can go to the clerk's office and examine the salaries of employees.
Does the clerk's office have that?
It was delivered to the clerk's office last week, Friday.
Delivered a hard copy, right?
Hard copy is in the clerk's office, and an electronic copy has been posted to the city's website.
That's interesting, because when I asked for the NOFA request, it was denied.
It didn't exist.
We'll see.
But now it does.
The clerk's office will let us know tomorrow. if they have it. All right. Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Ms. Gordon asked a question regarding the GRC reports. Just GRC decisions that have been rendered in your favor. It has been discussed at this meeting on several occasions, so
What meeting?
on several, it was discussed even at the last meeting.
Here?
Yes, at the council meetings, it came up through citizens' comments, and it was discussed. I have instructed the clerk's office to send all of the decisions from the GRC to all council members so that we can read them and be aware of the decisions that they're rendering and findings.
Have you known that before I
Again,
mentioned?
we did know, because it has been mentioned several times, regarding the GRC, and we can't have a dialogue, I'm just letting you know, the GRC findings in your favor. Going forward, any rendering of a decision from the GRC will be distributed to all council members. And we will receive, and the clerk's office will update all the council members from all the decisions from 2014. And Mr. Mays. Ms. Stewart, regarding the payment for SCAFAR, I will ask if you or Mr. Mays can have a conversation about that, just because of the nature of it right now, okay? So regarding the payment for the 142 that you asked about, you and Director Mays can have a discussion regarding it. Director Mays, regarding the various roads, and I know it's not even a quick fix, but I know on Oakwood Avenue, I believe on Day Street and in Scotland and May, as just mentioned, there are a lot of potholes. Can you update us on the status of just filling those potholes, and can they be done sooner than later?
We do potholes typically 2 or 3 times a week. Only thing I can say is if you give me the areas, I can direct my people to go to them. That's the best way to do it.
Oakwood Avenue under the bridge, Hickory Street by the bridge.
No, that's fine. I don't mind.
So-
If you just tell me where, and then I can have my guys target those areas.
That's two
Okay,
right there.
just a second. Director Mays, Ms. Stewart mentioned Main and Scotland Road. And there was a mention last week of areas of Day Street. Councilman Cole, the Oakwood Avenue.
Oakwood Avenue by the bridge, Hickory Street by the bridge. Kill us.
So I would say Oakwood Avenue specifically between Main and Freeway Drive West. Okay, and just some announcements. Our liaison to the county, Mr. Garrett, could not be here due to the training he had to attend, but he wanted me to announce that tomorrow, the Community Development Block Grant provides, will have their ceremony announcing the CDBG Awards for 2014-2015 year, program year. All are invited. It will be tomorrow, 12 noon at Essex County Hall of Records, first floor lobby, and again, it's at 12 noon. And there's parking in the jurors lot, and it will be stated parking is free. Also, just as Superintendent Lee stated earlier, I'll repeat that tomorrow is the Board of Education's annual town hall meeting at Lincoln Avenue School from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. They will be discussing the State of District Student Recognition, 2013-2014 Student Achievement Data Analyst, Park and new graduation requirements, Parent Academy, and facilities update.
On Saturday, October 25th, rain date October 26th, the county will be hosting their annual Stretcher Mud at Essex County Brookdale Dog Park at Grove Street in Montclair. And registration's at 9:15 and the parade is at 10 a.m. And it's free entry. Also on, the county will also be having their Harvest Festival tomorrow, on Friday, October 24th from 6 to 9 at Essex County Presbyterian Memorial Iris Gardens on Upper Mountain Avenue in Montclair. The City of Orange Halloween Fall Festival will be Wednesday, October 29th from 3 to 6 p.m. here at City Hall in the rear parking lot. In the event that there's rain, it will be held at the YWCA 395 Main Street. If you have information, if you need more information, please call Dana Madden and Recreation at 266-4045. And as Councilwoman Easton stated earlier, Mr. Godfrey is really stressing that the council members and citizens come out to enjoy the Veterans Day and Homecoming Parade on November 1st. The parade starts promptly at 10 a.m. Participants need to be in place by 9:45. The parade will begin at 105 Main Street, that's the Church of Epiphany, and will be marching to Bell Stadium. Also, if anybody is aware of a veteran that perhaps Mr. Godfrey may not know of, please contact Campanella Godfrey also at 266-4045. And just, the holiday are coming and is coming quickly, and the city will be hosting a Toys for Tots. We're asking people if you want to donate food, candles, or toys, please drop them off at the Orange Police Department, or at the Orange Public Library, or at City Hall, here at City Hall. Thank you.
And Councilwoman Eaton,
Yes.
for the parade, if you want to march, you gotta be at Church of Epiphany by 8:30 for the start to line up.
Okay, he gave me different, okay. Directions, thank you, Councilwoman Easton. And just, and council members, regarding the Citizen Budget Advisory Committee, if you have not submitted your appointments for the Citizens Budget Advisory Committee, please submit them to the clerk's office as soon as possible for appointment at the next meeting. And regarding the Environmental Commission, Councilman Foley, thank you for bringing that up. Council members can make appointments to the Environmental Commission. Councilman Foley, I believe you made an appointment with Ms. Katie Gordon, and that resolution will be coming forth on the next meeting where council members can make that appointment. If you have any questions, please contact our legislative research office. But in terms of just simple appointments, please email it to the clerk's office and to the legislative research office. Clerk, please move the agenda. Going to ordinances and second reading and public hearing. We're on 19-2014. This is tabled. Do I have a motion to move it from the table? Moved by Councilman Corbett. Second by Councilwoman Easton. This is a vote to remove from the table. Councilman Coley?
In favor.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Vaughn Butler?
In favor.
And I am in favor as well. 19-2014 is moved from the table, and administration will be withdrawing 19. Mr. Matt, or what will the process be for 19?
Council President, after conversations with the legal department and bond counsel, it was our hope, and I was surprised to see the way these items were reflected on the agenda. It was represented to us by the bond counsel that we could have made the change to 19 and that it wouldn't constitute a material change since it's a reduction in the amount.
and therefore, we could have gone forward with second reading of 19 with a change in the amount. As it's reflected on the agenda, I see that there is a second ordinance 20-2014, and so if the council chooses to adopt 20-2014 on first reading, then we would have no choice but to withdraw number 19.
But do you need 19 to 20 together?
We've had,
Yes. Mr. Mobley, I just don't, well, it was the administration that put the new ordinance forth. So, is this, help me out. Help me out, Mr. Mobley. If the administration put the new one forth, where,
It was our understanding that, and I came to the clerk's office to ask the question whether or not we would be able to move forward with 19. It was really unclear whether or not we would be able to do that. Certainly bond counsel, as Mr. Matt pointed out, thought that we could move forward with 19, just with the change, since it didn't reflect a material change.
stop, I need a motion to extend the meeting. I'm sorry, who moved it? Councilwoman, who moved it? Butler, and second by Councilwoman Easton. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion, council members, I apologize, we're gonna have to go into executive session for 10 minutes. A motion to enter into executive session,
Move.
moved by Councilman Johnson. Second by Councilwoman Easton. Any discussion? Roll call, Councilman Corbett. Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilman Coley?
In favor.
Councilwoman Easton? Yes. Councilwoman Summer Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler? Not in favor. I am in favor. We're going into executive session. I just need people to remove the room. Mr. Matt, can you stop recording, please? You want to talk to him? All right. I apologize for the wait. We're going to resume the meeting. We were on 19-2014. I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Move.
Second.
Wait, don't get to make comments on the public hearing? You didn't even let the public.
Mr. Bell, can you please have a seat? A motion to close the public hearing.
I move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett, second by Councilwoman
You
Easton.
didn't get a comment.
On the motion, I would just like to be clear that this was tabled during the public comments at the previous meeting. There were several public comments, and after the last person spoke, we left it open. There will be an additional public hearing on November 5th that will be announced later to discuss this, but this
All right, you're not
public
voting.
hearing is closed.
So you're not voting.
Are there any other comments on the motion? Seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley? Motion to close public hearing.
Yes.
I'm saying, this is the motion to close, I'm just saying. Councilman, I'm sorry?
That's all in favor.
I'm taking the vote. Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summer Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler?
In favor.
I am in favor as well. The public hearing for 19-24 is closed. Motion to adopt on final reading?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Councilwoman Easton, second by Councilwoman Sanders Johnson. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley?
This is 19?
19-2014.
No.
Councilman Corbett?
No.
Councilwoman Eason?
No.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
No.
Councilman Johnson?
No.
Councilwoman Butler?
Not in favor.
And I'm not in favor as well. The motion does not carry. Next, moving to 20-2014, a bond ordinance amending and supplementing bond ordinance 8-28, which provides for improvements to the city of Orange, Mount Wells, and Chestnut Street Treatment Facility and High Pump Station, heretofore finally adopted by the City Council of the City of Orange Township in the County of Essex, State of New Jersey, on May 20, 2008. I'm sorry, I apologize. Please disregard. This is a bond ordinance amending and supplementing bond ordinance number 8/2008, which provides improvements to the City of Orange, Mountain Wells, Chestnut Treatment Facility, and High Pump Station. Heretofore finally adopted by the City Council of the City of Orange Township in the County of Essex in the State of New Jersey on June 4, 2008 to reappropriate an additional $1.25 in excess bond proceeds not needed for the original purpose from bond ordinance number 22-2002 to finance the cost thereof. Is there a motion to adopt on first reading?
Second.
By Councilman Corbett, second by Councilwoman Eason. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley?
Yes.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Harold Johnson?
In favor.
Councilwoman Gordon Butler?
Abstain.
I am in favor. The motion carries 6 yeas, 1 abstention. The public hearing will be on November 5th, 2014. Again, November 5th, that's Wednesday, November 5th, 2014. Moving to ordinance 21-2014. An ordinance to amend the code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 200-52-1, Handicap Parking Spaces, 94 Park Street on the east side.
Move.
Is there moved by
Second.
Councilman Ford, second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson? On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley?
In favor.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gordon Butler?
In favor.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
I am in favor as well. The motion carries. The public hearing will be on Monday, November 17, 2014. Monday, November 17, 2014. I'm sorry? Moving to 22-2014, an ordinance to amend the code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 200-52-1, Handicap Parking Spaces, 351 Berryman Place, the west side.
Move.
Moved by Councilman
Second.
Corbett, second by Councilwoman Summers Johnson. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley?
In favor.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Harold Johnson?
In favor.
Councilwoman Gordon Butler?
In favor.
I am in favor as well. The public hearing will be November 17, 2014. November 17, 2014. An ordinance to amend, moving to 23-2014. An ordinance to amend the code of the City of Orange Township, Chapter 200, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, Section 200-52-1, Handicap Parking Spaces, 28-30 Prince Street on the west side. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett, second by Councilwoman Gordon Butler. On the motion, seeing none, roll call. Councilman Coley?
In favor.
Councilman Corbett?
Yes.
Councilwoman Eason?
Yes.
Councilwoman Summers Johnson?
Yes.
Councilman Johnson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gordon Butler?
In favor.
And I am in favor as well. The motion carries. The public hearing will be Monday, November 17th at 2014. We are moving to the consent agenda. A couple of, first, 255-2014 will be removed and placed on the November 5th agenda. 255-214. Now I need a motion to suspend And as a reminder, 255A 2014 was already voted on. And we're doing a motion to suspend 275. A motion to suspend the rules to add 275-2014 and 276-2014. Does everybody have those? Yes, no? $275 will be a resolution authorizing approval to submit and accept a grant application to execute a grant agreement as sub-grantee of Montclair State University for $30,000 a year for 5 years for the United States Department of Education Full Service Community Schools Grant. 276 is a resolution authorizing the issuance of a raffle license to St. John's Catholic Church. Is there a motion to suspend the rules and to add these?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Corbett, second by Councilwoman Gordon Butler. On the motion, seeing none, roll call, Councilman Coley.
In favor.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summer Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gordon Butler. And I am in favor as well. 275 and 276 are added to the agenda. Council members, please advise if there are any resolutions that you would like removed from the consent agenda. Yes, Councilwoman Gordon Butler. 261. 261. 272. 272. Mr. Please. Councilman Johnson, are there any? No?
No.
Councilwoman Summer Johnson, are there any? No. Councilman Coley?
No.
Councilman Corbett?
No.
Councilwoman Easton? No. We are now voting on the consent agenda. Let me read the statement. All items with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless the council member requests to remove. In which event, the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Again, we are now voting, and just for clarification, 255-24 is
Remove.
we're going to post 255-2014 to the November 5th agenda. 261-2014 is removed for a separate vote, and 272 is removed for a separate vote. Consent agenda, 256-2014, 257-2014, 258-2014, 259-2014, 260-2014, 262-2014, 263-2014. Consent agenda, 264-2014, 265-2014, 266-2014, 267-2014. Consent agenda, 268-2014, 269-2014, 270-2014, 271-2014, 273-2014, 274-2014, 275-2014, and 276-2014.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Corbett. Second. Second by Councilwoman Easton. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda is concluded. Moving to 261-2014. A resolution rescinding 69-2014 adopted March 18, 2014, authorizing the submission of an application for supplemental loan from the New Jersey Environmental Infrastructure Trust Financing Program for Change Order 12R2 associated with the construction of the water treatment facility in the amount of $1,204,987.88. Moved by Councilman Corbett.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Easton. On the motion, seeing none, roll call, Councilman Coley.
No.
Councilman Corbett.
Yes.
Councilwoman Easton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summer Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Gordon Butler.
Yes.
And I am in favor. And the final count is
6-1.
6 yeas and 1 nay. Moving to 272-2014, a resolution approving the bill list for council meeting vote on October 21st, 2014, dated October 17th, 2014, and approving checks issued by the Finance Department according to Ordinance 2-95. Mr. Knapp, was that a duplicate or you can't tell, so you will?
We can't determine at this point if it's a duplicate. If it's a duplicate, it will not be paid. It won't be paid once. And so I would encourage you to adopt the bill list. And if it turns out to be a duplicate, it will be removed.
If you just update the council?
Yes, we certainly will. We'll do that first of the month.
Thank you, Mr. Knapp. Is there a motion? Moved by Councilman Corder.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Summer Johnson. On the motion? Seeing that, roll call, Councilman Coley.
Yes.
Councilman Corder.
Yes.
Councilman Easton.
Yes.
Councilwoman Summer Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Butler. Not in favor. I am in favor, and I am in favor. The motion carries. 6 yeas and 1 no. Before we leave, I think, the council members, I don't know if everybody had a chance, but please just remind everybody. I'm sorry. The council meeting, just reminding everybody and in the audience that November 4th is election. Please go out and vote. I think Councilwoman Summer Johnson, she makes a great statement about South Ward. What's your statement?
Over 3,000 people did not vote on election day.
Okay, so please come out and vote. Midterm elections are very important. Please, we have more announcements, please don't leave, so please, and in light of that, please be mindful that the council meeting will be on Wednesday, because election day is Tuesday, so the council meeting will be on Wednesday. This will be the next one?
Council President.
What? Yes, Councilman Johnson.
I don't know if I'm having a senior moment. Do we adopt the minutes?
Yes. It was just from the July 1st meeting.
Oh,
Yes, you are having a senior moment.
That was only 3 hours ago.
You say yes.
You are having a senior moment.
Thank you very much. Councilman Johnson and Councilman Coley,
No.
3 minutes, please.
3 minutes, put the timer on. I want to see my
Motion to
kids. I
adjourn.
want to see my kids.
That
They're going to be in
motion to
college.
adjourn?
motion.
Motion.
Second by Councilman.